So, good afternoon, everybody. Once again, we are live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. I hope you are doing incredibly well. There are so many people already in the stream. Mickey's here. Good afternoon to Aaron, who has in turn said good afternoon back to Adam Williams. And as always, is Charlie playing? I believe so. Yeah, slightly. I mean, would you believe it? We're plugged into the Ethernet. We've had some serious problems with. Basically, I got my Mac repaired and the internet's gone a bit rubbish on it. So we are in the front room. We are sat just a couple of meters from where Andrew was. If you're an OG member of the streams, you will know that Andrew was sat over there quite a while ago. And I used to be sat upstairs and he would be sat there. And then we discovered that we could just do it together. And he's going to be sat here with me in due course. However, we are now back in the front rooms. I hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday. Thank you so much for dropping in to join us. It's Northampton Town versus Pompey today. And we're going to get the lineups on the screen in just a moment. White is indeed on the bench and Wood Thicket thinks we're going to win this one. Well, let's open it up to everyone who joins us live across YouTube and Facebook and across the world here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. Let us know how you're feeling about today. Give us a score prediction and then a reason. I don't just want to see 2-1 Pompey. I want to see 2-1 Pompey. Who's going to score? Why you think we're going to win? And I'll reveal what I think will happen in just a few moments. But before we do so, let's say hello to Brian, who joins us all the way from Rio, hot and humid. He's going for a 2-0 Pompey today. And Ollie Clark is doing the same. Well, while we have a look at that, I'm going to, in a second, I'm going to get the team lineups on the screens for you so we can go through those. Before we do so, though, we have got an exciting night on Tuesday. And when I say exciting, it's probably a season-defining one. Let's take a look.
Next Tuesday, it's the big one. Portsmouth versus Sunderland, live in League One, right here on Fournilwrittenalloverit.
They're a dangerous team. They're not as dangerous as us, obviously, but they're a dangerous team.
Never in doubt, mate. Absolutely never in doubt.
But generally speaking, we're heading the right way, and that's up.
Charlie White, is he magic?
Who?
Charlie White.
No, it's terrible.
It's live from Fratton Park, and kickoff is at 7:45.
We are very much looking forward to bringing you that one live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. Right, here we go then. Team lineups. There we go. They haven't been cropped because we're running a bit of a tight ship this afternoon. But there you go. You can see there's 4 changes for Pompey in goal. Number 1, Craig McGilvery. It's a back 4 of Jack Watmore, Sean Raggett, Rasmus Nikolaisen and Lee Brown. So Jack is in at left back again, much to Mr. Poirier's discontentment. Then George Byers comes back into the side alongside Tom Naylor, Andy Cannon, Marcus Harness. And it's a return for Johnny Marquis, and Ronan Curtis is there as well. Let us know, ladies and gents, how you feel about that one. What we're thinking about the lineup. I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments. Sean is going for a 3-0 Pompey, since I believe that even though we are in bad form, I believe we should beat a team like Northampton. If we don't, then sack Kenny Jackett. Good afternoon to Oakley, who joins us. He thinks it's going to be a 3-1 or a 2-1. Head to Northampton. They have a new manager and beat Plymouth. I'm not hopeful, neither am I. Harness and Curtis to score. This is where it turns around, says Brian from Rio. Brian, I love your positivity. Good afternoon to Luke, who's a Northampton Town fan. He reckons Ryan Watson's going to score for the Cobblers. We look much better recently. Yeah, big win against Plymouth. And before then, I believe you hadn't won a game, mate, since the 29th of December 2020. So is it an uptick in form or is it just a one-off result? We will have to wait and see this afternoon. We are now just 40 minutes from kickoff. Ollie said, disappointing it's not a 4-4-2, but we should have the quality to beat them easily. Thank you for that, Ollie. To be honest, mate, by the look of if you're looking at the lineups, right, and we can't tell what the position's the formation's going to be because we just don't know, do we? Hello to Toby. You said wouldn't be surprised if we lose today and beat Peterborough and Sunderland. It'd be just like Pompey, wouldn't it? James Keane joins us on Facebook. He says feeling good, 4-0 win. Play up Pompey. Thank you very much indeed for that. Biley has gone for a 2-0 Northampton win, and his prediction at work, mate. To be honest, I'm not going to disagree with you. Adam has said, seriously, why is Jack playing right back instead of Bolton? Yeah, I don't understand that one. I believe James Bolt was on the bench. So what's the issue there, Kenny? What is the thinking? But the 4 changes I think were needed, weren't they? And they were needed because it was really, really poor against Doncaster. It was boys against men on Tuesday, wasn't it? Let's be realistic about it. So yeah, we are gonna have to. Something's gonna desperately needs to change, doesn't it? That would be absolutely wonderful. Well, something that has changed since we last spoke is the league table. We're going to have a look at that before we speak to Aaron, who's very kindly jumped in straight away. He's 5 minutes early, which is what we love to see. But before we speak to Aaron, let's have a look at the table. As Andy said, the team lineup. So let's have a look at the table as it stands right now. there we go there. Up the top, Peterborough United on 62 points, played 31. It's Hull City, who have played 2 more games than them. They are just 3 points behind them. Lincoln City are in third place, 31 games played, 57 points. And then our opponents on Tuesday night, Sunderland, sit just a place above us, 2 points better than us with the same amount of games played on the table. And that's all we really need to worry about, isn't it? Good afternoon to Mr. Aaron Newland. Welcome along to the stream, mate. How are we clear? Are we nice and crisp? And you can hear us well, I assume?
Yeah, plenty. Can hear you. It's lovely and crisp and everything. So it's all good. All good. Afternoon, Tom.
Good afternoon, mate. There'll very shortly be an Andrew sat next to me in just a few moments. But for the time being, mate, it's just me and you. How are you feeling ahead of this one? A point today might take Northampton back to safety. 3 points would definitely do so against us. Are they going to be up for it just as much as we will today?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think they're on, well, they beat Plymouth, didn't they? So, and everyone's beating everyone. So, bit nervous about the game, but it's what the players do on the pitch in that 90 minutes. Stats go out the window completely. Yeah, so it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tough. But I think Ipswich, we're losing 1-0 at the moment, so that goes in our favour as well. Because otherwise, if they win, they could actually jump us. And if all the other results go against us, we could actually end up out of the playoffs this weekend. So
that's not a good sign, is it?
No, so we definitely need to win this. It's no excuses today. We have got to win this. It's a must-win game. But all games now are must-win.
I was going to say to you, they are all going to be must-win until the end of the season now, aren't they, pretty much?
Yeah, definitely. Very, very disappointed from Tuesday night. I was in a very bad mood for next couple of days. I was glad I had the day off the following day on Wednesday. But then on Wednesday and Thursday and even last night, I've been going on different Pompey websites, different forums, different podcasts, and been listening to everything really. And I think the reason why our players have gone the way they have is because when the salary cap was actually chucked out, I think that's what's actually affected all the players from now. So
how do you reckon it has affected them, mate? What's the what is it about the salary cap that's affected them?
Well, the salary cap has been squashed, so all their agents are coming out. Right, we think we should have this amount of wages each week, and because the boards and everything have said no, so now they're playing for their contracts at the end of the season. But if we don't go up or don't get into the playoffs, then it's going to be, well, see you later, Pompey. So I think some of the players are thinking now, well, that's it. We're not actually valued at the club. So what's the point of actually putting the effort in? So that's what I think has gone against us now. And it all happened since Charlton. Charlton, it was a good game and everything. But as soon as that salary cap announcement come through, that's it. It's just changed the whole attitude of every single player. And Kenny doesn't help much with all the stupid comments he brings out and everything.
Was it a good way to lose on Tuesday, Aaron? Just to say as well, Ipswich have now got an equaliser against Gillingham. That one's just gone in. So it is now level terms at the Priestfield Stadium. But, mate, on that comment, I'm sure we will be speaking about it for the majority of the afternoon, because it was a ridiculous thing to say, wasn't it? What did you make of what he said and how he backtracked as well? Because I thought that was even funnier.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. It's just, why say it? That's why I sent you the picture of Ant and Dec. Saying like,
that was very funny.
Kenny, now say something really stupid, and then they do their Saturday night takeaway. So it's like, surely he's just deluded at the moment, absolute deluded. But
you think he just did it under pressure, Aaron, after quite a rubbish result? He could tell that it was really bad on Tuesday, and he just said it just out of no real meaning to it.
I think he must have just said it out of the spare of the moment, but it's every week now he's saying stupid comments. Even Gallant, Joe Gallant, he's saying stupid comments as well. And then with all the players, we need to improve this, that, and the other. It's like, well, instead of just saying it, do it. Because at the end of the day, we're hearing the same things from the same players each week. But it's the 90 minutes they have to perform now. We pay them a lot of money, so it's like we went to war from our city, so. famous saying from one of our previous managers. I know Kenny's got the best win ratio of any manager, but it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough at the moment. So hopefully he can actually turn it around today. It's strange. Jack, go on.
I was just going to say, on the win ratio thing, I've had a look at that as well, and I sort of thought, well, how on earth is it as good as... I think it's the best since Harry Redknapp. I know he had 2 spells with us, but you just think, have those wins come at the wrong end of the season, perhaps? I'm thinking what made the win ratio so good was... Do you remember the time a couple of years ago when we beat Peterborough and went top of the league and we stayed there for a prolonged period of the season? I think that contributed massively to the games that Kenny was winning, because he was winning a lot of games. What's happening, sadly, this is how I see it, is that the win ratio, it's good, but it's not happening at the right time for us. We can win as many games as we want, earlier on in the season, get points on the board, but then teams do better than that. They grow into a season like your Lincoln Cities, your Peterborough United. Peterborough haven't been top of the league for a long time, and now they are, aren't they? And you look at teams like Sunderland, who've come up massively in the ranks. They're now above us in the table. They were 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th for quite a long period of the season. It's only recently where they've built up. How do you feel about that? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's just, well, there's such a good, I wouldn't say it's a brilliant league, but it's just teams are winning at the right time. And especially when he does it Jackett does it every season. At the end part of the season, he changes formation and tactics. You should be doing that in pre-season, not literally a third of the way to go, because they all over us on Tuesday night, and changing that formation tactics, it just did not work. The players were not comfortable at all, and if it's not broken, don't fix it. So we knew the 4-4-2 was okay. But then he just changed it to a 3-5-2, and then it wasn't working. Players were really uncomfortable. You could see that. But it's horrible watching. It is horrible watching at the moment. And
very sadly, Aaron, where you just said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It has now been broken for quite a while now, and 4 more changes have had to be made. It's Cameron Byers, John Marquis is back in the side this afternoon. Jack Watmore's still playing at left back. How do you feel going into this one against a Northampton Town side who have got a lot of confidence coming into this one? We've mentioned earlier on, but they've beaten Plymouth. That was their first win since, I think it was the 29th of December 2020. So it's a good 3 months almost 3 months without a win. How are you feeling about this one today?
Very nervous. Very, very nervous.
And they're 20 seconds. That tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah, because normally I'm so positive and everything. Yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But at the moment, it's just not working. It's just not working. And especially with Northampton as well, they get a nice win today. They're out of the relegation, so they can carry on. But it's just something needs to change. And I'm glad Marquis is coming. Hopefully, he's actually had that time on the sidelines to say, look, I haven't been good enough. I've now got to step up. We pay him a lot of wages each week. I think he's the highest paid player in our team at the moment. So he has got to put in a shift. Well, the whole team has got to put in a shift. But I'm still not convinced that Kenny knows his strongest 11.
At this stage.
Yeah, at this stage of the season, it's scary. It is scary. And especially with all the other teams around us as getting in the forms and getting their runs together, like Sunderland. It's just, what is happening? We should be miles in front at top, especially being top at Christmas. And in the games that we actually lost, it was just, we shouldn't have lost them games. I worked it out as well. We should have been about 8-9 points clear at the top if we had actually won them games. But sadly, we didn't win them, and we are in the position we are now. And
Score prediction, Aaron?
Sorry?
Score prediction for today?
If the team come out and put in a shift, I will say 3-1. But okay. It will be down to the first 20 minutes. If we don't put in a shift in the first 20 minutes, and if they get an early goal, I can see all our players' heads dropping, and it'd be the same thing each week as we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
Aaron, we'll speak to you at half-time and then again at full-time, mate. Your positivity's nowhere to be seen today, but I think that's because we've had a rubbish couple of weeks.
But I have got my jam and creams though.
Oh, mate,
so
you've got your jam and creams. We've come prepared as well. We've got one pack, because if we go for the double, we end up eating them all. It's just a disaster. When I say we, I mean my colleague that's not on the left of me, but he will be very shortly. We'll speak to you in just a few minutes, Aaron. Thank you for joining us so early on, and we'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Take
Cheers,
care.
mate. That was Aaron, who's very kindly joined us. And now it is time to speak to Retro Shirt Sean. Before we do so, let's take a look at how the two teams compare that face each other at Sixfields this afternoon. So as you can see there, team form, you would have thought these are two sides that are actually relatively close to each other in the table, looking at their form. But it's 4 wins for Northampton previously and 7-2 for Pompey. Good afternoon to Retro Shirt Sean. He's very kindly jumped in to join us early doors. Hope you're well, mate. Welcome along. How are you doing?
Not too bad, my friend. Not too bad. Feeling positive today for once.
Excellent. Yeah, I think, it's one that we need to kind of be positive about, isn't it? Because if we're not positive, then you just start crying watching Pompey at the minute, don't we?
Exactly that. I'm still not sure about the Watmore right back when Bolton's on the bench. I don't understand that choice. That's the one that sticks out of the team news today. Other than that, like you were saying to Aaron, I don't think Jacket knows his first 11, which is
really upsetting, and also it's scary, really, isn't it? That we've got to this stage and there isn't an 11 that he can go to and whatever, and chopping and changing. In a league like League One, Sean, I'm sure you'll agree with me on this one. Oh yeah, just before we carry on, Anthony's a massive fan of the retro shirt. Bit of who does that one remind you of? Linvoy Primus, perhaps, in that?
Yeah, I think so. That and Merson and Stevanovic and Dazuk coming through and all of that time.
Bit of breaking news as well. Gillingham are now 2-1 up against Ipswich Town. That is the latest at the moment from not Gressy Road. That's Crewe Alexandra, isn't it? Priestfield Stadium. But yeah, what I was going to say to you, Sean, was I can't remember now. What was I going to say to you? I think I was talking about what was I talking about?
Chopping and changing.
What was that? Help me out.
We're talking about chopping and changing and about
so chopping. Once you start, there's difficult to finish, isn't it? Because now he's chopped and changed. We've played Doncaster, and there's 4 more changes to the side. We need to be settled, don't we? Especially with after today 14 games to go.
Is it? Do you think? I was thinking about it the other day, and I was wondering: is it because we've got quite a big squad, and we've got quite a lot of choice for every position? Is it sort of the effect of that? Because we know we've got a lot of games, but it's almost like our squad's too broad, too deep. Sometimes there's too many choices for him. He gets confused.
Man City have got too many choices though, and Pep always gets that on the money every week, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's that combination, isn't it? Having a big enough squad and making sure all the players are in form, or they cycle through form. But it just doesn't seem to be working at Pompey at the minute. I don't know why.
Absolutely. It's Verdane Oliver on the score sheet, and you'll remember quite rightly that he was the man who got the equaliser at Fratton Park just a couple of games ago. Sean, just very quickly, Pompey have scored in each of their last 5 away games, and as we mentioned earlier, Northampton Town are still a point from safety at the bottom of League One with the prospect of League Two football next season. How do you feel this one's going to go this afternoon? Do you think this has got to be one of those where we can assure ourselves of 3 points, surely?
I don't think you can assure yourself of any 3 points, but it is a team. This is our make or break game for the season. I think we'll look back at this, and depending on how we perform today, is whether we have any end of the season. If we lose this, it's all gone. And we are mid-table mediocrity planning for next year. If we win this, there's always that glimmer of hope, and we should win it comfortably. But I just worry where the goals are going to come from. Is Marquis going to get his form back? Is Curtis going to be less ball greedy and playing the other players? What more at right back? Unless Jackett's seen something that we've never seen. I don't think he's got the legs for it. And, why isn't Bolton starting? He looked quite solid when he came in, or Hadji, or it just seemed all a bit strange.
Absolutely. Sean, we will speak to you at halftime and then again for your full-time analysis too. Thank you for the moment and enjoy the game. Enjoy it as much as you can. Speech in a moment. That was Retro Shirt Sean. He's very kindly joined us live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit as always. Right, let's speak to Richard before we do so. Another little round of statistics for you ahead of today. So this is how the two compare in terms of their upcoming matches. You can see Pompey have got a horrible run of games after this one. Pompey won almost twice as many. Also, Northampton Town, unfortunately for them, have lost quite a few games so far this season. Good afternoon to you, mate. Welcome along. How are you feeling about this one?
Well, not very positive, I don't think. I think what I heard over during the week with regards to since we've had our sort of slump in form, it seemed to be doing something to do with what was put in the Pompey news. Was it the 10th of February, something about player contracts and the wage, obviously, capping thing got lifted. And then they're turning around saying that there's not going to be the money there that they thought they were going to be getting. And I think it was something like 11 players or something, isn't it, out of contract at the end of the season or something. And, you know, it seems to have been a drop in form from then. And I think, you know, we all saw it on Tuesday. And well, you know, Northampton have got a new manager, you know, I honestly don't think we're going to do, you know, get much out of today's game. You know, I say what Sean was mentioning, you know, what more in the back, you know, right back, you know, clearly that's a slot for Bolton. You know, what more needs to be, you know, in the sort of centre of the defence, really. But obviously, Nick Eliasson's, you know, sort of cemented his place there now, I think, you know, with Raggett, because Raggett will never move, will he? He'll always be there. And I say, I'm pleased.
He's like hemorrhoids, isn't he, Sean Raggett? Keep getting worse, coming back, yeah.
But, you know, I'm hoping, you know, Curtis will do all right on the left, you know, what I've seen the formation at, you know, they're looking at playing one up front, you know, so Byers obviously in the middle with Naylor, you know, and say with Cannon and all that ahead of them. So, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, we'll do okay, but it's not going to be an annihilation of Northampton because I think that they've got so much to play for, you know, so, and, you know, and points to prove, haven't they? And certainly points to get, so.
Absolutely. Ben Clark has said half the team don't play for the shirt. When you're playing for a team like Pompey, you need the passion that the club holds. And Anthony's along the same lines. He said players have lost the passion. How easy is passion to regain, Richard, for you? And how important is that, particularly for a team like Pompey that you're playing for?
I think for you to get passion, I think it starts off on the contract table, you know, because I'd mentioned, you know, long time ago, that you see when people are playing for a contract, you know, they actually put their heart and soul into it. And sometimes once they get it, they seem to sort of do drop off form, you know, a touch. But the problem is if you've been told, or, you know, rumours out, you know, if you've been told that you're not going to be getting the money, they want to be pushing Pompey to get to the Championship where there's no guarantee that you're going to get a contract at the end of it. You know, we've got star players and we've got your McGilverys, your Curtis, your Cannons, all that sort of stuff, you know, your Necklers, but you know, they could get a contract, but not the money that they want, you know. So are they looking at it thinking, well, we'll just stay first division, you know, with the hope of trying to go elsewhere, you know, later, you know, for next year to a different team. You know, I hope that's not the case. You know, you'd want it.
Richard, if you wouldn't mind just holding the fort for a moment, I'm just going to go and quickly grab a pen because I haven't got one. Tell us how much you feel like this result hinges on the next couple of games coming forward. And looking ahead, Sunderland, Ipswich, Peterborough, it's a really tough run, isn't it?
Oh, it's massive. And I think what will give them the confidence, you know, if we do get the points today, that will certainly, you know, give some good, you know, spirit, you know, into Tuesday's match, you know, for Sunderland. You know, I say we got Peterborough, Ipswich, you know, I know Ipswich aren't obviously, you know, they're sort of hot at the moment, but I say with Cook in charge, you know, the only thing that's going to be for them is more positive and they're going to, you know, slowly climb up the table. Peterborough, well, that's going to be.
It is now. You just mentioned Paul Cook. Sorry to cut across you, Richard. It is now 3-1 to Gillingham in their game. So that looks like, I don't know what minute it is, but it looks like a pretty conclusive 3-1 win. And Brendan is going mental behind the stream as well. Will Paul Cook, I don't know if you just said it or not, but do you think Paul Cook will do big things with Ipswich? And how long do you think it will be before they can push out of Championship? And would you have had him back had he not taken the role?
I think it won't be this year. I think definitely next year they'll climb out. But next year, you know, because they say he's got, you know, a team there that they've got to sort of gel back together, start getting the results. You know, they've probably got quite a bit of deadwood in there that he wants to sort of, you know, shift out. Would we have Paul Cook back? I definitely think so, because I think he was he always seemed to be a manager with passion. You know, you could sense that, because whenever he was on camera, it always sounded like he nearly lost his voice. You know.
Yeah.
it comes on, obviously doesn't say a great deal because most of the time he's got his hands in his pockets and just busy, just happily watching it. But no, I say it'd be interesting to see, what comes. What I would like them to do what they did at Ipswich. Will basically, they get rid of the manager. They take the financial loss of it. I know it's not great for the club, but to try and get something in place, ahead of next year. I know we're saying that we've still got quite a few games left, and they might turn the screw and start, getting the results that we want. But I think Saturday's game, Wembley,
could do without it, really, couldn't we?
It's pointless because they could go on and win it against Salford, and then the following day, this year's trophy's being played, and then you go straight into the Peterborough game. I think, isn't it, on the Tuesday?
Yeah.
Really, what we want, is it?
Absolutely. Can I get a score prediction off you, Richard, this afternoon? I know it's been a rather pessimistic start to the stream, to be honest. I think everyone's sort of predicting a loss today.
I would say a positive 2-2.
Oh, that is extremely positive. Is that as positive as it gets for you?
I say every week, first 10 minutes, see how we get on. See how Northampton line up against us and how we, can try and break them in that first sort of 10, 15 minutes. I think it was just like Tuesday, isn't it? That was how the game sort of unfolded after that period. So,
absolutely. Richard, thank you very much for the moment, mate. We look forward to speaking to you at full time and obviously at half time as well for your midway point assessment. We'll speak to Richard very soon. Someone we are now going to speak to is Brendan. Good afternoon, mate. Slightly behind schedule. Where's Dad today? What's happening?
Once again, he's been roped into work. So,
what a nightmare.
Yeah, he's extremely busy, so he doesn't know if he's going to even see the game. So he's a bit annoyed.
Well, he might not be as annoyed as we will be come 5 o'clock, having watched the game. How are you feeling about this one today?
No, Tom, you have some positivity in it, mate. Well, watching.
Oh, wonderful. Go on.
But I don't know. I see the lineup again. He's made 4 changes to the side. But one thing I'd like to say is over this last few weeks or so, is it's been said today as well, is that Jackett doesn't know his strongest 11. Well, I'd like to counteract that with something saying that a lot of Pompey fans in this last few months have all said we need to rotate this squad because of the amount of games being played in a short period, in this period of time. It's Saturday, Tuesday for 2 months, maybe 3 months now, and very rarely we get a rest during the week. So to say he's going to play the same squad every single week, and everyone now is saying, "Oh, he keeps on changing it. And he doesn't know his squad." Well, a month ago, you all said you wanted it to be changed up and players need rests. So either way, he can't win. And I'm not saying that Pompey aren't playing fantastic at the moment. Obviously, we've lost how many games in the last lot, But at the same time, we all want Pompey to win. Granted. At the same time, you can't just moan at Kenny every single time saying that he doesn't know his squad when pretty sure he's been there 4 years now. He's in his 4th year. He knows the squad. He buys the squad. There's probably one player in that starting lineup that he hasn't bought, and that's Jack Watmore. So he knows it. The fact that he hasn't
Curtis as well. That's one of his recruitments.
Exactly. So you can't just say that he doesn't know his squad, because he does know it. He knows it probably more than we do. We're not there at training, so
yeah.
I think get off. I think the club need to get off. People need to get off Kenny's back in person. He's not doing a great job. I'll grant that, but get off his back. It's the players who are not putting the ball in the net and keeping clean sheets. That's my point of view.
Brendan, I was just quickly going to add, we've mentioned the last sort of 10 games or so. From the 10 games we played, I did a little bit of stat digging in this last couple of days or so since, the debacle on Tuesday night. 11 points from a possible 30 in our last 10 games. Not automatic promotion material, not even playoff material.
Not at all.
Northampton have only just behind us 7 points from their last 10 games, possible of 30.
Yeah.
Where's it going to come from if we're looking for something better than where we are now this season?
Exactly. Well, it needs to come from somewhere. There needs to be. I know. I watched a documentary the other night about it was on BT Sport, our club,
Yeah.
And obviously had Bob Beach on there, and he was talking about they all sat in the shepherd's crook saying about all these dodgy owners we've had. Someone's got to do something. Someone's got to do something. Well, we're all sitting around waiting for something to happen. And every week people are always sending direct tweets and mentioning on Facebook Eric Eisner, Michael Eisner, Mark Catlin. It's like, leave them alone. Let them do their jobs. They know the fans aren't happy. You don't need to start atting them and telling them that we're doing wrong, that we're doing badly. Because sure enough, they know it. And people wanting Eric Eisner and Michael Eisner to be more vocal about it. He said, well, that's not their job. They put Mark Catlin in, the bloke who lives in the country, who lives in Portsmouth, who's there every day, and he's the voice of the club. And it's frustrating because I find up on Facebook now that you can't even talk to people anymore and rationalise with them, because all the time there's one bloke I've seen every time Portsmouth Evening News put a report out, he always comments "jack it out." I don't even mind.
I think there's quite a lot of people that do that every time.
Yeah, but there's legitimately one bloke called Pete Malloy, and he's literally.
Hello, if you're watching, Pete.
Yeah, if you're watching, Pete, every single post, without a doubt, it might even not be about Kenny Jackett. It might be about Neil Allen's done a report on some player who's left us, who's hooked up or something, and it's just like, jack it out, target, and it's like, yeah, of course, commenting on the Evening News is gonna sack Jackett, isn't it? But there needs to be an injection of like urgency into the club and into the football players to be like, lads, we need this. We need to do this. If it takes John Westwood to come out there and start shouting over the fence, or God forbid, another protest, another SOS Pompey protest, to go out there and start saying things need to change. Obviously, we can't during lockdown, but it hasn't stopped protests in London with anti-lockdowners, But
absolutely,
I don't know what it is.
Something
needs to inject into these lads.
What was that? Sorry.
Yeah, it's just that something needs to be injected into these lads. That it's more than just a football team. It's a city. It's there's generations of fans that support this club, and we want to get out of this league and get back to where we belong in the Championship, And
external pressure is not going to help, is it? It's only just going to make things worse. And I'm a believer of what you're saying as well. Good afternoon to Amy, who joins us live. She's really hoping we beat Northampton. She's only down the road from it, so she could have gone today. And I was just going to say, Jake has said Northampton are going to be up for this. They will have looked at us and normally be scared of us, but today they are going to be up for this. I think, to be honest, Jake, that's the case for quite a lot of teams at the minute, isn't it? And literally anyone who plays us. I mean, I don't know if you've watched any of their stuff, Brendan, but I've been planning with SAFC Fan TV over the last couple of days, looking forward to Tuesday night. And I said to them, there isn't a better time to play Pompey at the minute. And it's probably not even a worse time to play Sunderland. And having looked at sort of recently, Northampton have really started to, give themselves a chance of getting out of the relegation zone. That's a worry today, isn't it? They're going to be massively up for it.
Yeah, you look at the Premiership now. Everyone wants to play Liverpool now. Liverpool aren't performing. Everyone's like, it's the time to play them. It's time to beat them. And even the scum, they're playing Sheffield United today. I think Sheffield United might do it.
Yeah,
they're on a bad run. I don't know. I haven't looked too much onto Southampton Twitter or anything like that, but I haven't heard any shouts of Hasselhoetel out, and he hasn't won since January.
Yeah,
so,
and they lost 9-0 a couple of weeks ago, didn't they?
Exactly, losing 9-0, and they're not performing. Danny Ings is half the man he used to be. And it's not like they've lost a big core of their squad. All the lads are still there. Ings are still playing. Ward-Prowse is still playing. So it's both teams here. Hasselhoetel is playing his strongest team every week, but they're not performing.
Yeah,
I hate comparing Pompey.
Brendan, some people may have just eaten their lunch. So we should probably end this conversation now because it might be quite distressing for some viewers. Just can I get a score prediction off you, Brendan, before we crack on? And we're going to speak to Mr. Adam Poirier in a second, and then we'll get underway with commentary. What are you thinking today? Be positive, please.
Well, I've said Of course, I said it earlier today to my brothers and my dad. Anything less than a win is a fail. We beat him earlier on in the season quite convincingly. So, I 4-0, wasn't it? 4-0. It was. Yeah. And there's no Keith Curl shouting his odds now, so I can happily listen to it with the sound on this time.
Exactly.
But I want to win. We need to win, and I want to see 2-0, 3-0, even a 4-0 again. Just the lads need to turn up. The lads need to turn up, and we need to put in a performance.
Would really make a massive statement, wouldn't it, if it was to be 4-0 today? Brendan, thank you very much for the moment, mate. We look forward to speaking to you at halftime, and then once again after the full-time whistle, and who we are going to go to now as Andrew just comes and joins us. Hello, welcome to the new setup.
Oh, yeah, good afternoon, Tom.
We're I hope this is better. I think it is a lot better, actually. I think it's looking much better. We've got, obviously, the screens here. We're all ready to go. Let's get Mr. Adam Poirier in. But before we do that, we've got a really exciting night on Tuesday to look forward to.
Next Tuesday, it's the big one. Portsmouth versus Sunderland live in League One right here on Fournilwritten all over it.
They're a dangerous team. They're not as dangerous as us, obviously, but they're a dangerous team.
Never in doubt, mate. Absolutely never in doubt.
But generally speaking, we're heading the right way, and that's up.
Charlie White. Is he magic?
Who?
Charlie White.
No, it's terrible.
It's live from Fratton Park and kickoff is at 7:45.
We're really looking forward to bringing you that one live here on Fournilwritten all over it. Another man that we are looking forward to speaking to. We're about to speak to him now. Is Mr. Adam Poirier. Welcome, mate. How are you?
How's it going, you two? You doing well?
Buddy, all good. We're looking forward to today's game. Another 4-0.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, in my opinion, we arguably have a better technical team than we did when we beat them last time. We have Harvey White. We have Byers now. I mean, arguably, we probably have a better team, but do we? That's the real question.
If you have a look at the last couple of games, mate, it would probably be a good case for the argument against that. We all remember, we've just spoken to Brendan about it, but the score on the 27th of October, remember that one? The one we didn't stream because
4-0.
Yeah, we were watching it in there, weren't we? We have also won each of our last 4 games against this side. Does that bode well for today? You reckon we're going to do it?
You'd think so. You think there would probably be a confidence within the team to think that we could beat them and that we've beaten them in the past, but given our current run of form, I can see them at least scoring, and we can't score at the moment. So who knows what can happen?
Have we seen the team lineup yet?
Yes, we have. We have had it on the screen. Unfortunately, it's a screenshot from Twitter, but we'll have to make do with it. It's Craig McGilvery. Jack, come this way a little bit.
Yeah,
no, other way. Well, we can't see you though.
Don't worry for me.
Okay, just see the slit of your head. Well, exactly that. It's over. It's over there. It's Craig McGilvery in goal. Back 4. Jack, what more?
No change then.
No, 4 changes.
Oh yeah, Byers. Byers. Who else then?
No change. Sean Rager, Rasmus Nicolaissen, Lee Brown, George Byers is back in the team. Tom Naylor, Andy Cannon, Marcus Harness, John Marquis is the next name you're looking for, and Ronan Curtis
so Byers
too.
is in for who? Who's
Harvey.
Byers in?
Harvey White. Is that a 4-2-3-1 with Marquis up top? I imagine.
Yeah.
Like it.
Or a 4-2-2, and then Ronan's up top with Marquis.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine George Byers playing on the left-hand side, would you? He's sort of more of a central midfielder, isn't he? Perhaps you'd have... Can I make the case for 4-4-2, but have Tom Naylor, George Byers in the middle, Andy out on the left, and then have Marcus on the right with John and Ronan up top? Might be something that. But to be honest, Adam, given what we saw on Tuesday, it could end up being a whatever, couldn't it? It doesn't matter whatsoever.
It'd be a 9 at the back with with 1 at the top. I don't know. It does. He changes it every week, so. Let's just see. I can't predict anything, but I imagine I can see them scoring, but we can't score. That's what I'm saying, really.
It's go on. It's a bit of a worry.
I was just going to say, I listened to the Northampton podcast, the radio station, midweek. This podcast, and they interviewed Sam. Actually, asked Sam, not only by chance. We didn't sort of engineer it in any way. They just interviewed Sam, and he was on there for a good 20 minutes talking about. And very articulate. It's worth watching. I think it's Northampton. What's the station, Tom?
It's not a radio station. It's just the podcast that one of their fans do. But anyway, he was talking about
very
some
interesting.
Points,
some of the points that Sam was making about the team and Jacket's comments, and it's not the first time he's made a rash comment that he made last week. And actually, motivation and organisation and tactic nonce is pretty much lacking in a lot of places. I don't know what it is. It just seems there doesn't seem to be any sort of get up and go, does there? No real engine, no excitement, no adrenaline, no Pompey passion. It just doesn't feel like it, does it?
I mean, maybe he's got Watmore in there because he's a Pompey boy, and I think maybe that might play into why he's putting him in the team, because obviously he was out for a bit with the cards and then struggled to get back in the team. Maybe he wants that Pompey boy spirit in there instead of maybe Bolton. That's what I'm potentially thinking.
Yeah, well, it was the other thing they mentioned, and I only bring it up because I listened to it intensely, and it was quite an interesting article. They were talking about, they said, look, forget this season. They were saying, actually, forget this season at Pompey Podcast and Northampton. Forget this season. It's written off. We're not going up. We're not getting into the playoffs, and that's the end of it. That's what they were basically saying. So they're saying, look forward to June to changing the manager, and give us that opportunity that we stay in this league for another season. They changed the manager. Who would that manager then be? Several names came out of the hat. One was Robert Prosinecki. The other one was Gary O'Neill, who's currently at Bournemouth and was at Liverpool Academy with Jurgen Klopp for many years. So I don't know. Gary O'Neill's one of us, obviously, isn't he? He's got that pride, the passion. He's actually.
Is that what we need? Someone who
I don't know. I was going to ask the audience. What do you think? I personally, I think we need,
because Kenny's not a fan, is he? No. And we'll go back to the comment. This ties in quite nicely with what you're saying. But the big issue here, as Biley said, is we're all fans and talk with passion. Kenny is not a fan. Yeah. It is just a job for him. He never connected with Pompey fans. And as you said last week, he doesn't applaud the fans either. That's something we noticed quite early on.
He's disconnected, isn't he?
Do you think we need someone who is well connected, Adam, in the job?
I mean, yeah, it's such a big club with a big name. We need someone who really, really cares. Yeah. And I just don't know if Kenny does anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tried so much, bless him, but it's just, I don't think it's getting anywhere now.
And I think, do you also think, I mean, a lot of people, you just changed your job recently and you were leaving that job for a period of time, of course. Now, I'm not just saying it's unprofessional to not leave that job without any legacy, but are you?
I think you might, I think this is probably just a job that he's found after leaving uni. He hasn't left a job.
Well, did you not say you just moved jobs?
No. I'd never had a job.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe I'm bad analogy. Bad metaphor then. I thought you finished a job, moved to another job.
Let's say let's move to another job.
Let's just say anyone's moved to another job, right? It doesn't matter whether it's you, Adam, or Tom, or me. But let's say you moved to another job. That week of 2 weeks or 3 weeks of the burnout, where you've given your notice and you've got a month's notice to play out. No one's engine's working. Then it's slowed down. You're not really interested in doing your stuff. You're turning up, doing your stuff, and you're working.
He's handed his notice.
No, I'm saying he's leaving at the end of June anyway, and his contract's come to an end. So maybe there was a little bit more in him before. There's two ways looking at this. One, he knows he's not going to do it, so therefore he's on the exit path, and therefore he's on the go slow, which he's always been anyway, but even worse now. Or is he going to fight for it and try and get another job?
3-1 Gillingham against Ipswich.
Oh, that's good news.
Please wrap this question up as quick as you can.
The question I'm asking is to Adam, what do you think? Do you think he's just buying his time out, or do you think he's looking for the next 3-year contract by getting us promoted? What's in his head?
Well, I mean, I don't think he'll get a good place if he tries to just leave us in such a bad position. I mean, we should be up in the top 3. I mean, he really needs to focus and I think try and prove to other clubs in the future that he's actually worth it, because he's not really got us anywhere that great, has he? So
in 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, in my head, I'd want to at least try and prove a point and then go, but you don't know what's going on in someone's head.
No.
Right. Watching the game this afternoon, mate?
Yes, I am. I watched this game just because I think it could be a win, and that's the only thing I'm latching onto. But it's probably our easiest one. Easiest one out of a lot.
We're playing. You think it's going to be a win?
Yeah. If it was any other club, I might just close my eyes. But
well, let's hope we won't have to close our eyes this afternoon. Thank you very much for the moment, mate. We'll speak to you at the halfway stage, and then again after the game. Thank you for the moment, and we'll speak to you soon.
Always a pleasure.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. That was Mr. Adam Poirier, and we are almost ready to go here live on Fournilwritten all over it. We are here all afternoon until after 5 o'clock this afternoon. We have new surroundings, as some people may have noticed, and we are plugged directly into the cable. The referee is one of the oldest men I think I've ever seen this afternoon. He goes by the name of Andy Haynes.
You'll be experienced then, won't it?
It'll be experienced, perhaps, yeah. So hopefully you'll make a few decent calls this afternoon, because one thing we don't want to be going against us right now is a shocking referee call, is it? That would really rub salt into the proverbial wound at this moment in time. A very good afternoon. If you're just joining us, we're live on Fournilwrittenalloverit, as I say. And if you could drop us, what on earth are you doing? Drop us a like on the video, and also subscribe if you're brand new to the channel as well. That'd be very much appreciated. I believe we are just about ready to head underway. Just to fill you in with a little bit of statistics. The last time Northampton beat Pompey in League One was back in September 2017. We'll all remember what happened. We will all remember the result of that season, where we ended up going on to win the league, and it will be George Byers who will be taking kickoff for Pompey this afternoon. We are almost about ready to get underway. The knee is being taken. While they do that, we'll just let you know that Pompey have scored in each of their last 5 away games, and we haven't lost in 4 previous meetings, home or away, against Northampton Town in the league.
What's the lineup then, Tom?
We will see in just a moment. The referee, Andy Haynes, is just making sure that we are all ready to go, in which we are. And the whistle has blown. George Byers is off and underway, plays the ball immediately to Sean Raggett, who straight away... Northampton gain a bit of possession. That will be a foul on Marcus Harness to kick us off for the afternoon. And we are ready to go here live from the Six Fields. And this is Jack Watmore operating in right back position this afternoon. Fires a ball in early doors. Up goes Ronan Curtis looking for it. And that will be the first Pompey corner of the afternoon. And that one conceded by Northampton Town's Peter Chioso.
Free kick, isn't it?
Might be. I'm not sure.
It is.
I'm not listening to it. So there's that. Aaron has said good afternoon to Andrew.
Good afternoon, Aaron.
Welcome along to the stream. Welcome along, everyone, as well. Thank you for joining us. We're just approaching a minute into this one. And the goalkeeper for the home side this afternoon, Jonathan Mitchell, is about to take one of the first kicks from his own goal mouth of the afternoon. That's fired long as far as Rasmus Nikolaisen, who heads one straight out of play. Kenny Jackett completely ignores it, lets it bounce over his head. Your reaction to that big result for Gillingham, mate? They've beaten Ipswich 3-1. Second game of Paul Cook's reign there.
I think you would give him a couple of games to get the feel of the players, Tom, haven't you? But I would suspect that would be the last time they lose this season.
There's Lee Brown. Finds George Byers, who fires one up to John Marquis. He's working his way down the left-hand side. Jonathan Mitchell has to retreat rather quickly, and I think he's been caught offside there, John Marquis. It looked a little bit too good to be true, didn't it, that one?
Well, that's 1 minute in, and that's 3 long balls.
Yep. Let's wait and see.
That's what we like.
Well, it's only judging it on just a minute, aren't you? So,
just saying, it's 3 long balls in the first minute.
Absolutely.
That's good football. That's really good football.
That's all we've seen so far, isn't it? Give the game a bit of time. Here's Jonathan Mitchell once again. He's probably had the most touches on the ball in the opening couple of minutes or so. We're into the second minute here at Sixfields. There's Rasmus Nikolaisen once again. Ronan Curtis takes it down under pressure. He's going to look to play Marcus Harness in. That's really clever football from Pompey. Here comes Ronan Curtis. That one wasn't a long ball. Well worked. Here comes John Marquis working his way into the right-hand side. Finds Lee Brown, lays it off to Andy Cannon. Things looking bright and sparkly for the team in white so far. Jack Watmore now driving forward. There's a little bit of a slip from Chioso. Andy Cannon lays it off to Rasmus Nikolaisen, who fires. There's the long ball, and we went a couple of minutes before the long ball came in, didn't we?
We had 4 passes.
Probably
before
4.
The long ball.
Is this going to be an afternoon where we count the number of passes before we eventually see a subsequent long ball? I severely hope not.
I'll tell you what, the long balls will outnumber the jammy dodgers we've got.
Well, we have got some jammy dodgers, and if you're just joining us, you won't have seen this yet, but they're all ready to go, and we will hopefully not be drowning our sorrows in them this afternoon. But that is something we'll have to wait and see. Is Lee Brown taking a throw-in on the near touchline for Pompey? He's got Andy Cannon as an option, and George Byers is there for him as well. Andy Cannon will eventually be the recipient of the ball, and here he goes now working his way infield to Sean Raggett, who's the furthest man back for Pompey. Ryan Edmondson putting a bit of pressure on the ball. There's Jack Watmore, who managed to take it past one player, and Pompey lose possession. Andy Cannon wins it back. This is Rasmus Nikolaisen, who plays one up to Ronan Curtis. Clever ball down to George Byers, who's really operated in a central role in the opening couple of minutes. Let's hope that remains the case. And there's a long ball that's worked. It's Ronan Curtis, who's working his way into the box, and that one will be just dragged away from him a little bit there, and that's potentially going to be a free kick, as it is on Ryan Edmondson.
That long ball didn't work. It was a 50-50.
Well, it nearly worked.
Well, it didn't, did it? It nearly didn't work as well.
Nearly didn't work as well. I think you're seeing it from glass half full, and I'm full of confidence today.
Yeah, we should be against Northampton, mate.
4 minutes in now. This is Fraser Horsfall, standing over the ball for Northampton, just a couple of yards in from Pompey territory. Sean Raggett will rise the highest and get that one down to Marcus Harness. This is Jack Watmore, who there is. Your long ball again. He's going to try and reach John Marquis.
He's not going to reach John Marquis. He's got 2 central defenders on him.
George Byers now. Sorry, that's Andy Cannon. He's managed to win a free kick. It was the he's very angry about it, but I believe that's Ryan Watson. He scored
wants to help. He's broken his finger.
He scored 4 goals so far this season for Northampton Town.
He wants to help. He's twisted his finger.
I think he might have cut it, or something has happened to his finger in the process. Andy Cannon there. Yeah, I think he might have bent his finger back or something.
Yeah.
Something's happened there on the pitch. We'll let you know what's happened there. Perhaps it's just sort of reopened a wound or something for Andy Cannon. He's going to go off and receive some treatment from Bobby Backick.
No, he's
my God, he has dislocated it as well.
So he's put it back in for him.
Oh, that's horrible.
See Andy Cannon looking away then.
I looked away as well. That was horrible.
Well, just got to pull it and put it back in place. It's not too mess.
That's horrendous. We don't want to hear that. Jack Watmore now taking a free kick exactly on halfway line. For some reason, Sean Raggett's up there. Harness lays it off to him, and it's not the cleverest of balls. And here's Lee Brown now picking things up and going again for Pompey. There's
Raggett's in the box.
George Byers now. This is Tom Naylor, the Pompey captain, sporting the white shirt, black shorts and black socks, as all the Pompey players are.
Is he up there?
There is Lee Brown and Sunderland have opened their account for the afternoon at the Stadium of Light against Rochdale. It's 1-0, and Doncaster Rovers are 1-0 up against Plymouth Argyle. 2 early goals going in League One. It's dangerous play at the back for Pompey. Doesn't look very convincing, and Rasmus Nikolaisen will clear into this near touchline. Zishan's going for a 3-0 Pompey win. Zishan, you are more confident than we are this afternoon, mate. Very well welcome to the stream. If you haven't yet liked the stream, ladies and gents, get us up to 100 likes before half-time. That'd be absolutely
Has Zishan seen any
wonderful
games this season?
I'm not sure. But given the comment, I would have thought not. But Zishan, we are appreciating your positivity, mate. Hopefully that can be shared by the players this afternoon. This is Mikael Miller, who's managed to find a cross for Northampton Town, but it will go behind. And that will be I believe it'll be a goal kick. A goal kick, perhaps, for and it's a throw-in actually on this near side for Pompey. Sunderland have taken the lead courtesy of Dion Sanderson there. Let's hope he doesn't score at Fratton Park on Tuesday. That's a game that we will be bringing you live on Fournilwrittenalloverit in just a couple of days' time. 6 and a bit minutes has been played now. Lee Brown fires one up towards Ronan Curtis, and that will be Kioso's to claim. And once again, Ronan Curtis on the ball. And
Curtis looks like he wants to play football.
He does. And Marquis hopelessly chasing that one out of play to the near touchline. 7 minutes now.
The first 7 minutes has been exhilarating, isn't it?
It hasn't been the most interesting spectacle, I have to say. No. Helen's not happy because of the 3-1 loss. I'm very much happy with the wonderful gift I received this morning. So thank you very much for that, Griff Mum. Appreciate it massively. Here is Kioso now.
What was it, an Easter egg?
Lee Brown. It was not an Easter egg. No, I'll show you it later on. I haven't had a chance to show you. This is George Byers. Raggett now. There's your long ball in the direction of Marcus Harness, who doesn't win it. And that one will be fired away. And Northampton Town look willing to play this long ball malarkey because they're always going to be the second best to it. Is there a handball there from the referee? Not from the referee, sorry, that the referee's going to call for? Absolutely not. And there is a ball forward from Joseph Mills, and that one's reached Sean Raggett now. 8 minutes has been played.
Go on, long ball it. Come on.
I don't know why.
That's it. Keep good. Great
yeah.
ball.
Well, again,
Brilliant.
not well.
There's another one.
There is another one, and that will be Kioso's to chase down once again.
Well, another one. Look at this. This is great football.
Not enjoying it. Rasmus Nikolaisen now heads one down. Play your football on the deck, Pompey, should be what is being called from the touchline. And unfortunately for the home side, Ryan Edmondson, their central striking force this afternoon has been caught by the offside trap, and Rasmus Nikolaisen will take the subsequent set piece. And as you can see on the screen, Andrew, a bit of a graphic, Pompey 76% up on possession. Does that mean anything to you at this moment in time?
I'd like to know how long the ball's been in the air.
Marquis yet to win a header so far this afternoon. There's George Byers now. He will find Jack Watmore running down that right-hand side. Accrington Stanley are 1-0 up against Swindon Town. This is George Byers. Marcus Harness on that far side for Pompey. Looks to get it between two Northampton Town defenders, and that ball goes into the box, and it's almost a known goal from Kioso, but Jonathan Mitchell, more than had that one covered, and Ronan Curtis was the nearest white shirt to it. What do you reckon so far, mate? Not a lot to report, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, Tom, there's a bit of it's they're not as good as Doncaster, obviously, Northampton. To me, they look like two poor sides out there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Ronan Curtis now for Pompey. Andy Cannon was involved in a little bit of a triangle before the possession was broken there, and that will be an attacking throw-in, actually, that all the boys called for, but it won't go our way. That will be Sam Hoskins, who has played the ball to Kioso, Northampton Town right back. Excellent player for them by the standards of the home fans. Kioso, he's well liked by the Cobblers faithful, as it were. Hasn't got many options at this moment in time. Something needs to present itself to him soon, otherwise everyone's going to get bored. There it is. There's the ball, and that is Sam Hoskins now, who puts a cross in early, and Rasmus Nikolaisen is the nearest to it.
No, he isn't. That was the salmon.
And that was the salmon, sorry. And there's a bit of a kerfuffle in the box, and eventually things are settled down with Craig McGilvery, who very quickly redistributes, and this will be John Marquis.
Who doesn't win it again.
Still doesn't win it, and that one was actually won by Lloyd Jones at the back. I believe the play is going to continue by Rasmus Nikolaisen now, and that one will be I thought it was actually a Pompey throw, and that it might have come off the right winger for Northampton Town, but it wasn't to be, and that will be a Northampton Town throwing on this near touchline. Kioso once again is stepping up to take this one. There's 10 minutes has been played at Sixfield this afternoon. Welcome to everyone who joins us live on Fournilwrittenalloverit. It's wonderful to have your company. As always, we are guiding you through this one. We'll have our halftime guests on to speak to in not too long. There's the ball in initially, and it's a shot, and it'll be well wide from Sam Hoskins, who is already scored on 3 occasions, and he's assisted with 5 goals so far for the home side this afternoon. Something that Ronan Curtis took his eye off for a second there, Andrew, and it was wasn't an awful lot to come from that. No.
No, Tom. I think didn't know you wanted me to comment, mate.
Marquis has sadly not been able to win his next header, which is not uncommon and hasn't been.
I think he's got more chance of doing the lottery tonight.
He's also been
a chance of winning that.
He's been caught offside twice in the first sort of 11 minutes or so here at Sixfields, John Marquis. And I'm just going to pause to take a drink for a second, Andrew.
I think I'm going to be a little bit condescending all afternoon, Tom.
I'd rather you weren't, to be honest.
I know, but I'm just sort of been thinking about it all week.
I tell you what,
since Tuesday, I know I don't want one yet.
Why don't we ease the condensation for the time being? Let me open up the jammies.
Jammy Dodger.
Honestly, I'm going to contact whoever owned Jammy Dodgers, Burton's Biscuit Company.
Burton Albion.
I'm gonna give them a shout and say, look, boys, we need a sponsorship deal because we spend too much money on your products.
I think you're right. Where are they
cooked?
Biscuits.
It's in Burton, isn't it? Oh, it's in Birmingham. Birmingham.
No, that's.
Oh, Dublin. No, Birmingham. PO box. Oh, I'll write to them.
Yeah, write to them.
Talk for a second.
I can't talk because we're about to have a biscuit.
I don't have one at the same time as me.
Well, I can because we're co-commentating here.
Here comes Marcus Harness.
He's got away down here, and that's a good bit of play for him.
Is he going to get it in? He does. Back sticks, perhaps. Was it to be, and that one's away. He's actually done really well there, Sam Hoskins. Not in his usual position, doing some defending. Playing on the right-hand side of the attacking front three for the home side this afternoon.
You see that throwing then?
Mm-hmm.
He just dropped it straight back to them.
Best part of the game is opening the Dodgers. They've been opened, and I've lost a little bit of my biscuit, so I'll have to retrieve that later on. Hayward Jabulhami. I said, I wish I can get the game in America. Hayward, you don't, mate. Be quite honest. You won't wish that you're seeing this at the minute. It's been 13 minutes in it. It hasn't been much fun. Mickey, we could ask them to make a Chris Kamara limited edition Cammy Dodgers. That'd be wonderful. And we'll also get one at the end of the season that says Kenny Jackett's promotion Dodgers on it as well. We'll try and get that organised for you. And it would be lovely if Jammy Dodgers were our new shirt sponsor, wouldn't they? Or promotion Dodgers, perhaps. Shauna said the retro shirt Shauna's think we might have gone and jammy too early. Perhaps that is the case. But we couldn't resist. It's been a poor
It is a bit
opening.
early, mate, but it's just cheering us up.
Yeah, it's not been great.
We've got an injection of raspberry jam mush.
Just to say, Hayward, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, we'll keep you updated. If you can't watch it in America, then
the salmon puts it out.
We will have to be your next port of call. Is that an affectionate nickname for Mr. Sean Raggett? From you?
He rises like a salmon, Tom. Sean Raggett. So I'm going to call him Salmon from now on.
Okay.
The Salmon. The Salmon Raggett.
Keep talking.
He listen. I don't know what to say about the game, really, Tom. I just think I'm interested to see what the comments are from people on half time, what their thoughts are. But this is pretty shocking football.
I'm not great with it. Carry on.
I don't know what to say because there's nothing to talk about. There's
What
really.
do you reckon the game will finish?
At the moment, 0-0. Which would be a really good point. Darren Francis from Vancouver. Good afternoon to you as well, mate. Nice hat, like your hat. It looks like a real cowboy hat there, my son.
Brilliant hat, Darren.
I don't know if you wear them in Vancouver all the time, bud, but that is a sweet hat.
Darren looks like a fun guy. He does. He's going for a 2-1 Pompey.
Are you?
From the opening 15
You clearly
minutes.
can't see it in Canada either, mate.
Yeah, it's been dull, drab and boring, unfortunately. A bit like the wallpaper behind us. It's not actually. It's quite a nice shade, isn't it? What is it? Chic shadow? No, it's not chic shadow. What's it called? Pebble? Grey pebble?
Pebble something.
Anyway, this is Jack Watmore. And that'll be a free kick for Pompey. I believe it was a handball. Matty's asked, are we playing as bad as midweek? And Anthony's made the point. We do desperately need to keep the ball on the ground.
We are playing as bad as last week.
But the opposition...
Luckily, the opposition are poor. Because if not, this could be embarrassing again.
But that's a sign of things to come, isn't it? Whenever we get challenged by a half-decent opposition, it's going to be a turnover if things don't dramatically change. Oh, Darren's got his Burton Jammy Dodgers too, all the way in Vancouver. Darren, you are
well done,
living the life. Here comes a ball in for Pompey, and Marquis rose for it. And that
Marcus
was
rose like a salmon there.
a decent opportunity, and you've covered up my team lineups with the Jammy Dodgers. If you don't mind, I'll pop them there so I can see who's playing. And thank you, Zishan, for giving me an opportunity to plug Tuesday night, which is live with us.
Portsmouth playing next? Zishan, we are going to be playing Sunderland, my friend.
Tuesday night, and join us. We've changed the kickoff time on the stream, ladies and gents, and I hope my guests, so we will discuss this with them probably at a later date, not on the stream. But we are going to go for an hour and 45 minutes of build-up here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. We've got plenty to get through. Ollie will be joining us as well as Sam. As well for commentary, and Angie will be here on Tuesday night as well. So join us from 6 p.m. for a 7:45 kickoff, and you can all watch it with us as well because it's available live on Sky Sports. If you can't get Sky Sports, or if you just want us for company, which I know it's we like having your company too, so it works both ways. But you can join us on Fournilwrittenalloverit Tuesday night from 6 o'clock. Back here to the here and now. 17 minutes has been played live here. From Sixfields.
Absolutely riveting football.
It's not been great, which is why I took so long plugging the Tuesday night game. This is Tom Naylor now, who, believe it or not, has played a long ball up to Marquis. And I don't know what happened there. The referee...
I think he fouled that number 28, Tom. And he's not going to give him the ball back.
Retro Shirt Sean has said, it seems like we're in for an afternoon of huff and puff League 2 football. Pass and move, Alan Hansen style. Absolutely. People are surprised that I've mentioned Alan Hansen, given how much she was playing football before I was around. But you remember the Scotsman, weren't you?
Hansen, yes, mate. Yeah.
18 minutes has been played
now.
At
football and commentating.
Pass and move.
He's a little bit more biased than we are to a certain team up north and Scotland.
Absolutely. Here comes the throw-in for Pompey. This is Ronan Curtis now, whose first header didn't quite go to plan. And Rasmus Nikolaisen.
I mean, my word, mate, Northampton are absolutely awful.
We don't look great, to be honest. They're working their way into an opportunity to shoot here. The referee will not give that, and he might give that one. We had a second opportunity there, Pompey, to try and win the ball back. Andy Cannon went sliding in frustration.
Is that Weller or Mellor on the floor? Mellor?
That will be Mikael Mellor, who is lying on the floor. I reckon, actually, Jack probably committed a foul there. He went in again for the second one as well.
He should have got a red card for that one. Cannon was like a cannonball.
He was.
Watch that back slowly. Jesus.
Oh, I mean, David just stopped off at a sunny Blenheim Palace to chill and listen to the game. We love Blenheim Palace. We were there at Christmas.
We went to Blenheim Palace at Christmas. It was lovely.
It was. There was a Christmas light show and everything. It was the night before we played Ipswich Town. Lincoln City have taken the lead against Crewe Alexandria. It was absolutely wonderful, David. So hopefully you're enjoying your afternoon.
Winston Churchill was born there, you know.
He was. And that's how interesting this one is.
I think I'd rather go to Blenheim Palace than watch this.
Yes, I probably would as well. Let's see if anything can come for the home side from this set piece. It's on 20 minutes for Pompey now. Oh dear.
What?
This doesn't go to plan. This is the number 23, Joseph Miles. He's going to step up. It's over the wall and it's into the back of the net. And credit where credit's due. It was a ridiculously good set piece from Ryan Watson, who's made it 5 goals for the home side. What a hit. And that's not the best news for us, is it? But I'm not going to say we could see it coming. And I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't expecting it. But nonetheless, it's Northampton Town 1, Portsmouth 0 inside the 20-minute mark, Andrew. Craig McGilvery couldn't get anywhere near that one. What do you think?
I'd be careful what I say, Tom, because we've got a chance still with 14 games to go of getting out of this league, but not with Jacket on that touchline. And I'm going to say it once and once only this afternoon. Even if we win this game 4-1, mate, I'm still not going to change my mind about things. We ain't going to win this game 4-1, are we?
Callum Thompson has said, well, that's a loss. When was the last time we came back from behind? It was Easter Monday, 2017, Callum, I believe. Or Easter.
Well, we came back from behind against Plymouth and drew 2-2. Because they fell apart against
Northampton Town, is it? Come on.
Come on, me, mate. I know what's going on there. But Kenny's really giving people direction, though. Look, you see him on a touchline. He's really getting excited about the 1-0 down. He's really having a go at the players, and he's telling them which one should do what and what they should do.
Oh, my word. This is... Lee Brown now for Pompey. This is going to be a really, really long afternoon. A really long afternoon. And if you're just joining us, drop a like. If you feel like there's any way for Pompey to get back in this one, but there isn't, so...
Well, it probably is, to be fair.
Mate, come on. They are poor, but
we just said in the last 20 minutes how poor they are, but look how bad we are.
It's absolutely shocking, isn't it? Here they come. To be fair, there's nothing Craig McGilvery could have done. Here they come again, and that's George Byes who's conceded.
He could have saved it, but he didn't.
Well, he didn't. That's very true. I'm glad you pointed that one out. Thank you for that.
It's all Northampton, isn't it?
It is at the moment.
Hey, Northampton Town, for goodness sake, who are 20th or something?
22nd.
Really?
They're not anymore.
Where are they now then?
Not anymore.
Well, after this win.
Well, yeah. Here comes the in-swinging corner now. And this will be Mikael Miller. And it's 2-0. Ryan Watson doubles the score. And I am speechless. I am honestly speechless. That is freaking horrendous from Pompey. That was first man to the ball.
Jacket's got to go in the changing room afterwards. He's got to go to the director's box in Portsmouth Football Club. And he's got to give hand his notice in, hasn't he? Anybody with any pride in what they do in their job, failure like this after failure like this. If I failed in my job, we'd be bankrupt. I wouldn't be being paid £500,000 a year to run this.
To take the mick. To take the mick.
Well, it's out, mate. It's just out. It's done, isn't it? You know, it's freaking done. And we've been saying it all week. I want to hear a comment from Sam Stone. I want to hear what Sam Stone's got to say, and Alan Stone. I want to comment on the bottom there, guys. Just tell us what you think, please, because I really, really appreciate, especially Sam's comments. Alan, it's like me, he gets a bit more emotional, but Sam says something very, very sensible rather than the rubbish I come out with.
I'll try and replicate, and I would imagine this is probably what Sam would say, and he's been saying it for a long time. But Pompey are their worst enemies, and we've shot ourselves in the foot massively against
long ball. Tom, 12 long balls in the first 7 minutes.
It's not good enough, is it?
It's not good enough. This football is not good enough,
and it's not been good enough for several weeks now.
Months now. The only good news is we're going to have a Taj Ruby tonight.
Are we? I thought you were ordering a coq au vin.
No, I'm going to have a coq au vin tomorrow. We're going to have a Taj Ruby takeaway tonight, just to cheer ourselves up. I'm going to have several beers just so I can not feel the pain anymore.
Yes, I think that's probably in order.
I mean, several beers, Tom.
Yeah,
I'm going to need it.
You're going to get absolutely pasted, are you?
Well, not really, just several, so that I can just fall asleep and not worry about football.
Sorry about the connection. It'll come back in just a minute.
Don't worry, mate. I'd rather not watch it.
I'm just having to update the overlay on the screen for everyone.
I'd rather not watch it, Tom.
Lil Ginger said, as much as many people want Jacket to go, I can't see the Eisens splashing the cash on ending Jacket's contract and bringing in
Lil Ginger, let's just explain something to you. You don't need to splash any cash. Just pay him up to the end of his contract. That's all you got to do. Say, look, we're going to pay you to the rest of the season when your contract's up, and then leave today. Simple. You can pay him his full salary and leave. You don't have to pay any more, just his full salary, and say goodbye. And then give even Joe Gallen, not Joe Gallen, he's got to go as well because he's part of the management team. But what he's got to do, and then he gives someone like Guy Whittingham in charge to the end of the season, or Gary O'Neill, or somebody who will come along and just have some spirit. I would even go Charlie Daniels, player manager, to the end of the season. That's what I would do. Pay a player coach, put him on, get him in there, experienced head like him. He's been there with Bournemouth. He's got out of the leagues with Bournemouth just until the end of the season. Show a little bit more football. Tom.
What I am going to say is Kenny Jacket. I try to remain as kind of impartial as I can for the benefit of you.
You'll be careful what you do, Tom, because you're connected to the football club.
I know that, but what I will say is that Kenny Jacket is extremely lucky that he has got no Pompey fans there. Or he hasn't had any Pompey fans at the game for the last couple of weeks. Because things would be horrendous right now. It would be awful. And I'm above the agreement with you now. Northampton Town are 2-0 up they were 2-0 up in the space of just a couple of minutes, weren't they? It was... Literally, the next opportunity they got, they scored from. Pompey doing their very best to work their way back into this one, but just the effort just looks just like that from Ronan Curtis. He's lost that way too easily, isn't he? And just it's going to be embarrassing on Tuesday. It's going to be a walkover at Wembley at this rate. In fact, Peterborough and Ipswich we will probably lose as well. At the end of this afternoon, there's a very good chance that Pompey will no longer have a playoff position. And right now, this looks like it's the way things are going to stay.
What is the league table now then?
Well, I was just about to have a look for you. Before I do so, I just need to, sadly, have to go on to the channel and update the scoreline on
I'll have a quick look.
on the thingy. So if you want to have a quick look, you're more than welcome to. 27 minutes has been played here, live on Fournilwrittenalloverit. A very good afternoon to you all and a very warm welcome along. If you get the stream up to 100 likes, ladies and gents, that'd be great because we are suffering right now and this is horrendous to watch. Marquis, though, in the box, and again, he's caught by the freaking offside trap again.
Well, he's professional.
Again, for probably the fourth time this afternoon. He clearly went way early. Way too early. It's just... It's horrendous to watch. This is our football club, and I'm finding it quite upsetting to have to sit here and watch us lose to Northampton Town. Northampton Town. And Brett Pittman's just scored for Swindon against Accrington. And this is just an absolute shambles. And the referee's blown up for another free kick, and Pompey temperatures are rising now. Because they're going to start to get more and more frustrated as we are sat here watching this. This is absolutely a debacle. Woeful effort of a first half. It's just it's stuff that nightmares are made of. 29 minutes has been played now. And that one just bounced wide of the...
It could have been 3.
If
they were awake to that, that could have been 3. Look, not one Pompey player attacked that ball.
This result, we said it before the game, but this result really did mean a lot in terms of the next couple of weeks. And it's a long-range effort from Sam Hoskins, who's...
He would have been in if Brown had knocked it wide.
Exactly, that would have gone straight into the back of the net. Something right now, if something changed right now, I don't think it is going to. I think it will be literally the definition of a miracle if it does. But we might be able to salvage something from this season. We all know what it's like when a manager comes in and boosts things. We've experienced ourselves in the shape of when Andy Orford came in to try and steer us away from non-existence, and he did do successfully. This is slightly different because it's something positive that we're challenging for. And thank you to Harrison for getting involved, making his message very clear that we want Jacket out. There's honestly no need to do that, mate. But thank you nonetheless. David has said if we got Harry in till the end of the season, we would have a chance still. It's obvious the team don't want to play for Jacket anymore. Adam has said, I don't want to go up. We don't deserve it.
No, we ain't going to go up. Don't even think about it.
Here come Northampton Town again. Get to the dead ball line, and that's a
great save.
A good poacher effort from Sam Hoskins, who's scored 3 and assisted on 5 occasions this season. And that needed saving from Craig McGilvery. Really did need saving. Really needed saving from...
At the minute, we are 6th in the league, and that's because Ipswich lost today. And we're going to stay there, Tom. Doesn't matter what the scores go against now. We're going to stay there. So
this is another corner coming in from Mikael Miller.
We'll be 6th tonight, even if it stays like this.
Here goes the ball. Oh, my God. Are you joking? No.
Yep.
No.
You going to change the score up there?
Yeah, I do freaking need to change it, don't I? This is a joke.
Get your jacket, Mr. Jack. Get your jacket, Mr. Jacket.
What? 32 minutes in? I honestly don't have any words right now. Honestly have no words to describe what we are watching. A team who before last weekend hadn't won a league game since the 29th of December 2020. 3 months ago. We beat them 4-0 in October. Looks like they're going to do it to us. Oh my God. George Byers gets kickoff back underway for Pompey, and there's no coming back from this now. Is this a good way to lose, Andrew?
It's a good way to lose, Tom. This is actually a good way to lose.
But Kenny will be pleased. It's back-to-back
Yellow card
losses
for
in the
Marcus.
place of a week. John Marcus has gone into the book, probably more out of frustration than anything.
I think, Johnny, there's a word called the brace, isn't there? Which is 2 at the same time. And I think what Kenny be pleased with is that it's only 2 at the minute until we play Sunderland, which will be a hat-trick.
Oh my! I cannot believe that it's 3-0. 2 of the goals have happened in exactly the same way. Two goals that literally ended up in the top left-hand corner, and Sunderland have scored again against Rochdale. $35 has been played now. This is Sean McWilliams. And Alex, mate, it's not even funny if you're watching this. Joseph Mills now. This is Jack Watmore, who's going to take a throw in for Pompey as 2 balls have managed to work their way onto the pitch. This is Rasmus Nikolaisen now for Pompey. Plays it back to Craig McGilvery.
We haven't got a clue. We have not got a clue.
Ball played over halfway. Lee Brown for Pompey cuts inside. Looking to find the captain, Tom Naylor. He's under pressure. He's going to need to dispatch it quite quickly. If it gets any worse
The thing
than
is,
this,
Tom, the thing is, there's no point in people say make changes, right? Bring somebody else on. What's the point? These players haven't. These players, there's nothing you can change. Bring somebody else on that's make any difference, is there? You've got your starting 11 there, apart from Charlie Nicholas, Charlie Daniels.
I think that's the first time we've seen the ball in Northampton Town's box all freaking afternoon. There's Andy Cannon now, plays Jack Watmore on the right-hand side. This is Marcus Harness. George Byers, Jack Watmore. Pompey managing to somehow play some football, and that one's over the head of Ronan Curtis. And that again hasn't gone well.
Curtis never wins a ball when it's coming in like that.
We need the half-time whistle so desperately.
He never wins a ball when it comes into him like that, Tom. You know why that is? Because he doesn't move into the space he needs to move into the position he needs to move into. His positioning is garbage. He's running forward, the ball's good, passing the ball's good, and sometimes overhits it when he's whipping the ball in. But his worst for trait is that ball coming into him from the corner, from the far side, when he's got to jump for it. He never wins it. And he won't do, because he doesn't move into the position where the ball's coming from. He just stays right on the spot and expects the ball to come to his head. He just walked through 4 players there. He just waltzed through 4 defenders.
If nothing gets changed at the end of this.
What, you mean Jacket?
No, if nothing changes, I mean score-wise, if nothing changes.
This could finish 3-0, Tom.
No, it could finish worse than that. It probably will do.
I don't know. Northampton might just not want to attack too much and salvage this 3-0. They might want to just keep this 3-0, mightn't they?
There isn't a single Pompey fan on the planet that is
saying they're happy.
Is saying anything different than what everyone else is saying.
Not just Pompey fans, everyone around the country saying the same thing.
Well, anyone, literally anyone. $37 minutes now. If you're new to the channel, drop us a subscribe, because the season just is going to get worse. And if you want to see myself and Andrew as upset as we are now, then honestly, we should just go home.
You can see we're
half-time.
Really putting the pressure on them to
no,
try
we're not.
Get,
This
to try
could
back
easily
in the,
before.
To try and get back in the game, Tom. We're really putting them under pressure.
It's lucky that we are not playing. I don't know how Doncaster only managed to beat us 2-1. It's another Northampton Town corner that's been conceded by Jack Watmore. Heads have dropped completely.
Tom, we're not even trying to get back into the game, are we?
Body language is horrendous from every single player on the pitch.
The atmosphere is toxic, isn't it, out there?
Well, of course it is. And obviously it doesn't help that the fans are putting the pressure on this much.
Why doesn't it? You're a professional footballer.
No. It just doesn't help the football club, does it?
Mate.
This fan base. No, what I'm saying is this fan base can be the most fantastic supporter of their team. The flip side of that is we come down hard on a manager or a set of players if it's not going our way.
No, it's not the way. That's not true. We don't mind if they show that we wouldn't mind if they could show us that they really, really want to play football and play football. What we can't cope with is a manager that's been in that position for 4 years and this situation has not changed. It's gone backwards. And it's embarrassing, Tom. It's Northampton Town. Get your jacket. Go, mate. Do us all a favour. Give us a chance. Think about everyone else instead of yourself. You can't do it, can you? They've just tipped one over the bar. You can't do the job anymore. You cannot do the job. You're not up to it. Walk.
I won't be surprised if nothing happens. Because I won't. But that, as Andrew's just reacted to that chance that's been fired over the top of
Nothing's going to happen, mate. Because Eisner's are deluded. And Mike Catlin, you need to listen to what people are saying, bud. Otherwise, people are going to start questioning the board, aren't they? And the management structure above that, which people are already doing. Mark Catlin's a great guy, but he can't be sitting back and letting this happen, can he? He's the one who's got to make the decision. He's got to make the decision. And that's got to be the phone call to the US to say, look, if we don't change something now, we aren't going to get promoted this season. And then you've got a real problem on your hands because Pompey fans won't
the fact that we will be lucky to come away from this one at 3-0 as it is now is it's
embarrassing.
It's just tells you everything you need to know about the way that the team performed or are performing.
Even now, look, they're not even looking for it. Got Brown, he ain't got a clue what to do with it. You really haven't got a clue.
I think the word is embarrassing. It probably cuts it down to a T. I don't think we've had a shot on target this afternoon so far. I don't think we have. I don't think any of the play has even merited the sniff of a chance. 5 minutes to the break. And I'm sat here very aware that both of us have got to be incredibly careful with what we say. Myself especially.
Read some of the comments out, Tom. That won't be us saying it then.
Well, absolutely. David Riddle's raised the point that people went to war from this city. But it's a good way to lose. Mark Elliott has said this is against a team that are struggling at the bottom of the table. Absolutely. And I can confirm, ladies and gents, that we will be joined by Sam in just a few moments. He will be jumping on. I'm just going to very quickly send him the link in order to join us. And he's hopefully going to provide us with a little bit of...
That's what I was saying earlier, Adam. You'll be watching this and hearing what I'm saying. But that's what I was saying earlier. Sam is the guy I was talking about that made the comments to Northampton Town Radio Pod last week, which I listened to, and it's worth going to if you haven't got it. I don't know how you get it, Tom, or you could put the link on the screen, maybe.
I could send the link out on the page, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Here we go again. Now ball goes in, looping over the top, and
it's 4-0 at half time.
Oh, shit! You're taking the mick.
This has got 4-0 written all over it, Tom. I'm just going to visit the toilet and come
Please don't leave me alone because I'll say something I regret. This is shit.
Tom,
what the
don't use
No, we're beyond that.
Yeah, but you can't use that language. You don't need to say that.
This is.
What's Brown doing? Look, he's
hopeless.
What a great goal. That is a fantastic goal.
Similarly, for us anyway, it's a good way to lose.
It's a good way to lose at half-time. 4-0. It's a good scoreline at half-time. We ain't out of it yet.
That's pathetic, Pompey. Come on.
Surely.
We have the best set of supporters in the country. Loudest in the land. Loudest in the freaking land, and we get treated like this. That's enough for me, I'm afraid, ladies and gents. This is unacceptable. Where is the passion, boys? You play for Portsmouth Football Club, the best football club in the country, by a country mile. That's just ridiculous. What are we... Oh. I cannot believe what we are witnessing before us here. It's almost beggars belief as to what's happening right now, to be completely honest with you. And no one in their right mind was expecting a freaking 4-0
finished
against a team. I wish it was against a team who are probably the worst right now in the league. Have had one win since December last year. And it's a complete rinse and repeat. We were saying possession-wise, it was a rinse and repeat. It's a rinse and repeat afternoon. Three added minutes to be played at the end of this one.
What a shame.
And this is just completely beyond me. I don't know how on earth... Daniel, I appreciate you sticking around to support the channel, mate, and thank you to everyone who's jumped in to join us as well. I think this is the worst Pompey performance in living memory. I think you probably agree with that. I don't think we've played worse against anyone. And Sam Hoskins is on a freaking hat-trick. So well done him. Michael said, clearly, Jacket has lost the changing room. How long before enough is enough? You tell me, Michael. But I think enough was enough a long time ago. And Raggett has just had the first shot on goal of the afternoon. It's come in the 46th minute.
He had a free shot at goal, Tom, and he puts it wide. That's because he's prolific.
I think he's probably offside anyway, Sean Raggett, so it makes no difference, does it? Makes no difference.
Kenny Jackets, Jammy Dodgers.
Promotion Dodgers.
Kenny Jackets, promotion Dodgers. Kenny Jackets, promotion Dodgers. Kenny Jackets, promotion Dodgers.
It's not funny, is it?
Kenny Jackets, promotion Dodgers. Kenny Jackets, promotion Dodgers.
A minute to go in this first half. I honestly don't know what to say.
I want to hear what Jacket's got to say. Get him on here half time. Mr. Jacket, if you want, you come to the changing room, stick on 4-0 and let's have a talk.
We'll send you the link. We'll have a chat.
Send a link to Mark Catlin. Get Jacket on there. Let's have a chat to him. Explain yourself. I'm freaking angry, Tom.
I can tell. Someone else who's very angry right now is Sam, who's just jumped in the call there. Sam, if you're ready to go, mate,
let's start talking, Tom.
We need to
start talking. Give us an extra 5 minutes.
Well, it will. I don't know if he's there or not, but Sam,
hi, mate. Can you hear me?
We can't. Just about to see you, mate. Can you get the camera on?
And I'll do that. Not sure why it's not working. Oh, there we go. Oh,
right. Mate, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm a bit speechless, mate. But I wouldn't say I'm angry, Andrew, because I knew this was coming. I can't really work out how he's still in a job, and if there isn't a club statement after this, I think it just displays everything you need to know about the ambition of the club at the moment. It's disgraceful. This performance, this first half of this performance, is the worst half of football I've seen from a Pompey side in at least 8 years. Even when we had Richie Barker,
I'd go living memory, Sam.
Andy Orford in charge. You know, they were, when we had Richie Barker, they were a bad side, but they had a bit of comedic value because they were that bad. You know, this lot just do not. They just show nothing. There's no fight, no spirit. As much as the Twitter, the Pompey have been trying to, the players as well, they've been trying to kind of push forward this narrative of they're together, there's team spirit. There's none of that at all. And if anyone tells me there is, they're kidding themselves. There's absolutely nothing in this team that shows fight, shows spirit. You know, it even looks to some extent that the players are trying to get him out, because that first half performance, we've got some quality players. You know, your Harnesses, your Curtis, your Marquis, they're good players at this level. They aren't that bad. They are not as bad as what we've just seen. And they're just being restricted by this manager in charge. And as I said, if there's not a club statement after this game, it just shows the ambition of where we want to go. And you know, the season can be saved. Even if they got the academy manager in, just something to change it up to the end of the season, I could see something happening. But to 4-0 down, and Northampton have deserved that. And if anything, 4-0 probably doesn't. It probably like flatters us a little bit because of how bad we were. But yeah,
will it be disaster prevention, Sam, for this next 45? Would you expect?
Well, Kenny Jackett would probably try and not concede again, won't he? Because that'll be his aim. He'll try and keep it to 4. You know, he might sub on, I don't know, a defender for Curtis or something to try and keep it like that. But yeah, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure if you ask a lot of fans, and not just me, would you want Pompey to get back into this game? And my honest answer is no. I don't want Pompey to draw 4-4. We're never going to draw 4-4, but I don't want them to draw 4-4 because it just delays what we all want to happen. And that's a new manager, because this dip in form since the whole game has been. It has been. You can't. I've got no words, mate. You can't explain. You can't allow for that. The dip in form, and it's been. The performances have been just dire. There's been nothing. There's been no kind of ethos. There's no philosophy under Paul Cook. Even though that Crew game, everyone thought it was kind of doom and gloom. I was confident that team was going to get promoted because they had a way of playing. They had the players. They had the desire. They had spirit. They had something about them. This lot don't, and they don't at all. And I'm sure you can agree with me, Andrew. That Paul Cook team, you always felt that a turn in form was coming. This lot, I can't see it at all. And if there's not a statement after this, it just shows everything about what the ambition of our club at the moment.
Before you're about to ask the question, Sam, do you mind shutting the blind behind you, mate? Is that all right? Because you're a little bit shady. But go on. What were you going to add to that?
Yeah, just Sam. I listened to your podcast on Northampton pod the other night, which I thought was fantastic. By the way, I think you summed it up brilliantly. You're less articulate today because the emotions getting to you at this point in the game. I can understand that. But you explained everything in detail about the management, the board of directors, the way that you think things are happening there at the football club right now. And I agree with everything you said. It was fantastic. So anyone that's watching this that wants to watch that back, Tom's going to put the link out there so you can all listen to what Sam said. It's a Northampton pod. You need to get 12 minutes in before Sam starts talking, which is where you want to be, 12 minutes into the pod.
Yeah.
Just listen for the next 15 minutes or so, and it will give you some very articulate views on what's happening, I think. And we all can see it, but it's nice to see another sort of, I know because you work in the media anyway, it's nice to see a proper a sort of conversation about what Northampton was saying about us and what they were saying about Jacket and etc.
Sam,
which is interesting.
If you wouldn't mind just waiting there for a moment, I'm just going to add Alex in just to join in the conversation with us. Mate, I don't know what you thought of that, but it's been absolutely dreadful, isn't it?
I mean, I've been out the morning and thank God. And I literally have just got back at half time, and it just says it all when I'm pleased that I haven't had to endure any of that. It's a disgrace. How can those players put that shirt on and go and play like they are? And I know what Sam's saying, and they might be trying to get him out because it seems like maybe the only way that it's going to be done, and I don't even think it will be done. I'm thinking if we sack him now, like you say, put the academy manager or someone in, the season's over. I think it's done, and I think if we go and get a new manager in and commit too early to it without kind of doing all of the necessary due diligence before, the end of the season. He hadn't got time to put a stamp on things. We could, very easily get into another situation where we have a manager we don't really want for the long term in, and then it's not going to be a case of the Eisner's paying him off because they won't do it, and they clearly aren't going to do that for Jackett. So yeah, season's over, boys, and it's just disappointing how that's what it is more than anything. You can't go to Northampton and play like this. It's disgraceful.
A lot of comments coming up on the screen saying Catlin needs to take charge of this now and do something, otherwise he's going to be questioned, which I think people are starting to question that. So that's what Sam's alluded to earlier in the week. People saying Eisner's got to step up to the table. I remember year before last, when Eisner phoned Kenny Jackett live on iFollow and told him he's got another 2 years extension to his contract because we'd lost the last 3 games in a row. I remember that happening, and I thought that at that point, that's Eisner overruling what Catlin says and undermining who is supposed to be the CEO here in the United Kingdom. And I find that quite a worry, to be honest, to start with. And secondly, is Catlin just there because he's just there? And is it going to be his decision? Is he going to make the statement Sam's talking about tonight? Even if we come back into this and win it 5-4, none of us are going to be happy, are we?
Alex, do you see a statement incoming at 5:15 this afternoon?
As much as I hate to say it, I don't. As much as I want it, I really, really do want it. And I think what they're going to do is just see the season out, see where we end up. It doesn't really matter to them probably, because it's going to be new management, new philosophy, new start again next year, regardless. But there's no way we go up this season. And like I said to you the other week, I said, if we did somehow miraculously go up this season, I wouldn't be confident at all that Jackett wouldn't just take us straight back down like Wickham are doing. So we'd be in this position in a year and a half time, thinking what a waste of time that was. So I don't think there will be a statement. I'd be interested to hear kind of what you guys think would happen if he did get sacked now. What would be the case until the end of the season?
We'll leave that to Sam.
Sam can explain that.
I think I get what you're saying about if you bring a new manager and you can't really see us getting promoted anyway, and they just want to see the season out. But I guess there's that argument: if you brought in a new manager now, they could come in. They've got a free hit. It doesn't matter about the results in a sense. You give them the end of this season to kind of start building to what they want to do next season. They get a full transfer window in the summer, like not just kind of getting bought in the summer. They've got a bit more time to prepare. But literally, I honestly think anyone in charge at the moment could get a better tune out of these players than what Jackett's getting, because they're literally stick my dad in charge. I reckon he'd get a better tune out of them, because they can just. There is quality there. We've got some good players.
Yeah, agreed.
Because they've just got to be let loose a little bit. And Jack, I can't see any of those players playing for Jackett today. And it does seem like what's McGilvery's lost his head for a couple of those goals there. He's coming out, rushing out. That's not really what we've been used to. He's just kind of being a bit rash.
Sam, exactly the same.
Yeah, literally. And
I massively agree with you. I don't think. But you've said it before, Andrew, and I completely agree. You don't look at Jackett and think, I want to fight for that man. I want to go through walls for him. And that's what you've got to do with a manager. And you are right with Cookie. You thought there was always something on the horizon. Thought, we can turn this around. And I was actually at the day, the Boxing Day. I can't remember. I don't know if you guys were there at Newport that year, where we were 2-0 down and we won 3-2.
Yeah, Sam was there actually as well.
Amazing,
I was lucky enough on that day to be in hospitality with my family. And then I remember after the game, at half time, like Pompey usually is, I thought, well, this is the worst sport in the world. And then we won the game and it was the best sport in the world. But I remember we bumped into Cookie in the bar afterwards, and we said to him, do you fully believe we will go up this season? He said, we will go up this season automatically. I fully believe that. I don't think if you said to Jackett, he would be able to say with his chest he fully believes we go up at all since he's been here.
He'd say it was almost a good way to lose, probably, after the game.
That in the week is just the weakest mentality you've ever seen in your life. There's no good way to lose. I mean, I thought when we were 2-0 down today, I thought, my dad texted me, he said, looking forward to the 93rd minute consolation. Might as well just wait until then, because that's probably what it would be. But at least we're 4-0 down now, so we know that there's going to be no comeback at all. But yeah, it's just disgraceful, and it's just upsetting, isn't it, to know we're kind of on the right trajectory up, and then Jackett's just killed that for 3 years, and it just seems like a bit of a waste of time. And you just hope that Catlin brings in the right man when we do have that option, because obviously, you know, there's those stories that we missed out on, you know, Chris Wilder, and we brought in Richie Barker. So it's just not wanting to have another repeat of bringing in some farcical manager like that, you know, when we need bigger and better things. But it is tough, and the situation's not easy. I just think we all deserve far more than we are getting.
For this to have happened 3 seasons it's happened 3 seasons in a row now, where we've last season we started off poorly, picked up, and then had a drop in form again towards like the middle kind of end of the season. And it's happened again this season, this drop in form around January, February, March time. It's happened to 3 times now. And out of all of the drops in form, I feel like this drop in form now is the worst I've seen from any Kenny Jackett team.
Agreed. But do we call this a drop in form, or do we just call this genuine like disaster now? It's not even like a run. You don't drop in form and then lose 4-0. You're at 4-0 down to Northampton at half time. They haven't won in 2021 since Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's disgraceful. But yeah.
Okay, Alex, we've got, as you can imagine, we've got plenty more people to speak to. Sam, Alex,
stay around, boys.
Yeah, stick around. If we can speak to you at full time as well, I'm sure we'll be even more incensed.
Or even let's drop in halfway through the second half or whatever we're doing. Let's see where we get on.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I can't see it being 5-4 to us, though, guys.
No,
and like Sam says, you almost hope it's not, because it just delays the inevitable, which is not what any of us want. But yeah, just drop us a message, Tom, or anything on Instagram if you want to drop in.
Cheers, mate. We'll speak to you in a second. Let's bring in Retro Shirt Sean. Sam, if you're willing to stick around,
yeah,
I'm
mate.
sure you'll have a fantastic conversation about what we're looking at with this guy. 2 of probably the most knowledgeable football men that I know are sat on the screen, ladies and gents. So I'll leave it up to you both. Sean, to you first, mate. Well, I ask you this question quite a lot, but whatever we try and change, this is done and dusted for Northampton, isn't it?
Totally. We were optimistic at the start. You're hoping something would change, but I'll echo the other guys. I think at least it's 4-0. We know in our team we haven't got 4 goals in the second half. We haven't. We might get 1 consolation, and at least then it's a foregone conclusion. At least now people are going to have to seriously think about what's wrong, and there's going to be a change at some point. I would like it now. However, we know it's probably going to be the end of the season, and that's it. That's where we are. It is a shame we are at this level.
We're giving a couple of notes on the screen there, a couple of messages. We are giving 3 wins away to average teams.
This is an average team. This is a below average team. This team could be playing League 2 football next year.
Yeah. So could we.
And we probably deserve to be, don't we, Sam?
On our current form, mate, we're relegation form, and at the last 6-7 games, we've probably been one of the worst teams in this league. I don't think you can put many arguments against that. We don't have an ethos. We've got no philosophy, but we're saying the same things over and over again every single season, and it's just getting boring. And I just can't see. I don't know if we should say this as Pompey fans, but you almost want the score to kind of stay the same to try and force their hand. We've got tough games coming up. Sunderland's, we've got Ipswich, who, although they lost today, if they don't get in the playoffs this season, I think next season they'll win the league with Paul Cook. So we've got these tough games coming up. We could end up losing 4 or 5 games in a row, and if there's a big defeat to Northampton, they could easily force their hand. But we just haven't really seen anything like. We haven't seen the owners of the board getting close to that kind of decision yet. We haven't really heard anything about them maybe contemplating Jackett's future. It'll be interesting tonight to see if there is anything in that.
Sam, I'll come in on that one if I may. I'm not that close to the football club, as you know. I know Mark Catlin quite well, the same as you do, and we know a few of the players reasonably well. But when I look at it from an Eisner point of view, my view is he lives in California. He's not an English guy. He's not a football fan. They haven't got a clue about English football. That's for starters. Second, and that means a lot when in your head, doesn't it, and in your heart. What worries me is that he's sitting in. When we went to the Wembley final last year against Sunderland, they all came over from the States. The whole family came over. Wembley, London, all that big stadium, all the excitement, all the Pompey fans, all that dressing up. But he goes home thinking there's a big big deal, because it's in London. It's the final. We got to the final.
It's like a Super Bowl.
He doesn't know it's not Super Bowl because he ain't got a Scooby clue about the football club. He doesn't know it's a Mickey Mouse club. He just sees us as just getting out of the playoffs. Unfortunately, we didn't get promoted this season, but We did win the cup at Wembley, and that's a great season. And we got there again this season. If we were playing, if we could go next weekend, he'd be over with the family again, having a big old day knees up and a day out. And again, it would be another cup to their minds. I think they're deluded. They're not on the level. But who is on the level? Catlin's on the level. Catlin knows what's going on here. But is he going to make that decision?
Sean?
He's got to earn his money now. In my view, he's got to earn his money. I'm going to make decisions for our company, and I'm sure other people do with their companies. If I was making them same decisions, we'd be bankrupt. It's shocking.
From a business perspective, I'm hoping the Eisners are listening and they are using Catlin as a barometer. If nothing else, they are businessmen, and they know that, if it's not a kill-good factor for next season, that affects the income, especially if crowds are coming back and things like that. It will happen. So I kind of hope they are using Catlin as a barometer. I kind of hope Catlin has to be vocal. He is their link at the minute at the club to the fans, and he has to. He as his position, he has to sort of refer back what we're feeling, and I think he will. I think he's been probably not wanting to stir the water, but it comes a point like a game like today, he has to say something. And if he's asked,
I think I take your point about being businessmen, and you're right, and they are big businessmen. Bearing in mind the multi-billionaires, right? So in the scheme of things, little old Pompey, small little city in the south coast of England, comparably to California, with very, very minute investment. Let's face it, it's not big money to them. It's peanuts. It's petty cash. This isn't Super Bowl or the baseball team they own. This is not the Hollywood red carpet stuff they're used to. This is actually Pompey playing at Fratton Park, and you get 20,000 fans. Right? That's
in no other industry would Kenny Jackett be employed by us on Monday.
Exactly right. The point I'm going to make is that actually they are that far from. This is just petty cash. To them, losing today, losing 700 grand a month is nothing. It's like us losing 60 quid a month, comparably. So it's not on their radar, really. They've got other big fishes to frying. And I don't think they take it seriously and understand it the way we understand it. Clearly they don't, because he'd have been gone by now, wouldn't he?
Sam, if you'd like to shoot off and watch the second half of your dad, I completely understand. If you're around, mate, you've got the link for full time. Be great to hear what you think. This next 45 minutes. Sean, thank you very much as well for the moment. We'll see you both in just a couple of minutes. Let's go to this man here. Sorry to keep you waiting, mate. It's all gone mental right now, and we'll come to Brennan and Richard in just a moment. We are about to kick off.
Carry on through the game.
We can carry on through the game, but if we interrupt you and start talking about the game, apologies.
That's
but
right.
just to keep everyone updated. How are you feeling at the minute, mate?
Pompey, same thing each week, each game at the moment. But this is really bad, really, really bad. We had one shot on target. We had 67% possession, one shot on target. They had 5 corners, scored from 2 of them, 3 of them. We look like we're a team that's finishing already in the mid-table, and we haven't got anything to play for. That's what it feels like at the moment. It's just shocking, absolute shocking. And I know it's all our clubs and everything, but Tom, just calm yourself down. Try to keep your views down, because I know your situations with the club and everything as well. So you just got to refrain from shouting out and everything. So just careful on that. But with everyone else, I think everyone's feeling the same, and that something needs to change. And I can't see anything happening till the end of the season. So it's scary. Come Tuesday night, we will be out the playoffs, because I can't see us beating Sunderland. They're winning 2-0, I think, 2-1. 2-0 they're winning at the moment. And then we got the final one next Saturday. I'm not looking forward to that now. I'm really not, even though they're a League 2 club, but everyone can beat us because we're too open. Everyone knows our tactics, how we're going to play. And the dinosaur hasn't got a clue anymore. I've backed him for years, absolutely years.
That would be quite enjoyable, wouldn't it, to watch us lose to Salford City at Wembley? That would be funny, wouldn't it? Because they were non-league 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, but the thing is as well, this is last year's competition. It's not even if it's this year's competition. Even if we do win it, this season will be a failure if we don't win the playoffs or go up, because we're just playing a game from last year, and it's not actually this year. So it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, Aaron, stay right there. I'm going to bring Richard into the conversation because I'm aware of time, and I know that quite a lot of people would like to hear about what's going on in the game. But there's nothing to really report on at the minute, is there? Richard, what do you make of things at the moment, mate?
I knew they were going to score. I certainly didn't expect them to score 4, but I say, looking at the difference, I said at the start of the match or before we kicked off, they're a team with a new manager. They need to get out of the playoffs. They're now two above the playoffs with the current result at the moment. You know, we've got Accrington Stanley breathing on our shoulders. You know, they're 2-1 up at the moment, got a game in hand. You know, it is just, there's no commitment there, you know. And part of me hopes, I know a few of the other lads will probably, you know, not like me to say this, I'd like them to probably score more, because that will then be the push that Jackett will get to go out the door. If he stays at the end of this, you know, there's no way that it can call it. You know, he can stay after this performance, because we've got massive games coming up. And yeah, you know, he's out the door.
They've nearly just scored a 5th, to be honest with you, Richard. We've just Dad's reaching for the jammy Dodgers. Right now, Richard, do you see any hope other than a managerial change? Is that the only way out for Pompey?
It is, because, you know, we spoke about it, haven't we? You know, that you get a new manager in, we suddenly get that reassurance, you know, a boost of the players. The players want to play because they know they've got the thing of contracts at the end of the season. But is it a little too late? You know, I say, if the change today, we then started getting results, then at least we can cement ourselves in the playoffs, and then, you know, hope that we get something, you know, from the playoffs. But you know, the way it is at the moment, no one on the pitch. You know, I think it started when McGilvery came out for the first clearance out of the box. You know, instead of hoofing it, he sort of just passed it because he was like hesitant. You know, the pitch isn't in great condition, bit bobbly, but they're just taking full advantage of it. You know, I'm not sure what time you're on. To me, I say they've just got another corner at the moment. You know, I daren't watch it whilst talking because I can just see it going in the back of the net.
Absolutely. Aaron, just I asked Sam earlier on if this is disaster prevention now, but the disaster's already happened, doesn't it? I mean, how many more could this be from Northampton at this rate?
Well, at this rate, I could actually see them, hate to say it, but it could be 6-7-0 by the end of the game. And like, as mate just said, it's far too little, too late. Even if we do get rid of Jackett this weekend, only 14 games left. I think we'd be lucky just to scrape into the playoffs if we change the manager. But as the owners have previously said, they're not into sacking managers. They run out their contracts. They've never, ever sacked a manager. So I cannot actually see them actually getting rid of him until the end of the season. And if they don't get him, we'll be mid-table by the end of the season. With the performance over the last few weeks. Well, ever since Christmas, really. We were top about Christmas. But now, because we're not doing the results, we're not actually beating the teams we're supposed to be beating. And everyone's looking at us thinking, well, they're in easy touch now, easy 3 points. And everyone for the last few weeks is getting them 3 points. It's scary.
But surely, though, if he was to be let go now, then he would literally just be paid up to the end of the contract.
That's my point. Yeah. That was my point earlier.
Not going to get any bonus because they deserve it.
So. Just pay him now. Pay him for the next 2 months' salary and say goodbye. You've done your bit for 3.5 years. Here's the rest of your salary. Off you go. Right, Mr. Daniels, you step up to be player manager, and let's get something out of this side. You know, you don't even bring anyone else in. Don't need to really, unless you want a real chance of something like Gary O'Neill coming, something like that to get us up.
You just wouldn't imagine that there is someone lined up for it, though, gents. Would you at the minute? That doesn't kind of connote anything in that way.
Because they're not thinking that way, are they?
Unless the board have actually already got that little list of who they want to take over, and the phone calls have been going over this last week, but you don't know what's happening in the back room, so you never know. They could have actually had someone lined up, or they could be
the problem is, you would know something if there was any media, anybody, someone would leak something. That's why nothing's been done, because we would know something. Someone would know something. You know, it doesn't matter who it is, where it is in the world, in the football world. If something's going to change, we'd know about it a week before it changes, 2 months before it changes, probably. There ain't no phone calls yet because Catlin's on this bandwagon with this guy until the Americans decide enough's enough, and it won't be this season until the end of the season, I don't think.
Because I think the owners actually like the playoffs, because look at America with the Super Bowl. You win the playoffs, you win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think they're actually, it's the silverware and everything. You get a trophy from the playoffs. But like, we've never won a playoff game. So I've got no hope at the moment. I was so positive for months and months and months. But the positivity just seems to be ripped out of me at the moment. So it's gutting. It's heartbreaking for all the fans. But if the fans are in the stadium, there's no way he'd be still there. No way. I know we're not there. I know we're not there, but if we were there, that atmosphere today and last games, it will be absolute toxic. Social media at the moment is unbelievable. I'm not going to say certain things on here because it's a family channel as well, but yeah, it's very, very toxic at the moment. And it's hard being a Pompey fan because everyone's laughing at us.
And I don't get to see the paper from obviously being up here, but what's the consensus on the back page of the Pompey News then on a week by week basis, or sort of game by game? You know,
last week they really ripped into Pompey. They really did rip into them on Tuesday. The last couple of weeks, and with Neil Allen as well, the chief editor, he did ask Kenny the other night. He goes, even the Portsmouth fans are questioning your formations and everything. What have you got to say about it? So even the journalists now are actually getting into Kenny's face, asking the right questions, because even them now are sick and tired of it. But then he does that little grin and smile, which he does after every game and before game. And he's thinking it's the same thing each week now. And even the reporters have had enough of it.
Yeah, 'cause he started off with a grin, didn't he? He started off with a grin on Tuesday night when he started his report. And it's just like, it's not what it's not what the paying public want to see. They want people with emotion, and to in effect be upset because the team have just, haven't showed what they could do on the pitch.
Gents, we're going to have to leave it there for the time being. Thank you to you both for joining us for the moment, and Aaron, thank you for your wise words of wisdom on curbing the tongue a little bit in terms of what we say at this end. But it's all for you, gents, to say. And thank you for the moment, gentlemen. Someone else who is now going to jump in and say hello, Brendan. We'll be with you in just a moment. But Alex, I tell you what, Brendan, we'll jump on with you in just a second. But Alex, on the negative, it's nice to see a friendly face. I'll ask you this question, mate, and me and you have had many a conversation for many years about this, but
because you're brothers.
Well, it's very true. Thank you for pointing that out for everyone's benefit. But at times, Portsmouth Football Club can be the best fans in the world. When it's not going quite to plan, it can also backfire massively, can't it? And this is one of those moments right now.
It's really not going to plan, though, is it? There's deviating from the plan, and then there's miles away from the plan, and we're nowhere near the plan. I don't think we even got one, have we, at the minute?
That's the worry, isn't it? There is no plan. There's no plan A. There's no plan B. We've been saying that for 3 years.
Yeah.
There's no motivation, no desire.
I haven't seen the game yet today. How is it terrible? Is it shocking?
It's the worst I can remember ever.
And Northampton have got the ball now in our half and have had for the last 10 minutes. And they're just playing with it and going, we've got nothing.
Would you say, given I know you're not watching the game, but
they're looking for number 5.
If you just think about the worst Pompey performance you've ever seen, it's all Northampton Town at the minute as we're watching this. Just imagine the worst Pompey performance you've ever seen, and then 10 times worse than that, and you're probably just about there in terms of how bad we've been today.
How have we gone from winning however many games on the trot to where we've been in the last month? How has that happened?
We won those games just by luck, and the teams we were playing just by fluke. We won those games. We could see it at that time. It was just, in my view, nothing changed. It's always been like this. We started to play 2 up front, which we cried for, and we started to win some games. That was the difference in the changes, I think, in what happened. Kenny reverts back to his way of thinking, and he sticks 1 up front, and I can't even see the formation now. Can you see what the formation is?
It's not even a formation
it's
anymore.
It's just everyone's all over the
just,
place.
It doesn't.
You got Racket the Salmon. He's up at Racket the Salmon. He's up there attacking. It's just going on.
There are
3 changes.
4 Pompey changes that are about to be made. It'll be Ellis Harrison, Harvey White, Geordie Hawula, and James Bolton will be coming on, and they've given it till the 57th minute.
I'd have done that at half time
in order for it to happen. We're gonna bring Brendan in for his immediate reaction to those changes, mate. Thanks for sticking around. I know you've been waiting for quite some time, but as you can imagine, it's gone completely mental. First of all, just Burton Albion are now 2-0 up against Peterborough, so that's a glimmer perhaps of hope for Pompey. You're shrugging your shoulders. It doesn't mean too much, does it? How are you feeling right now as a Pompey fan?
Well, I don't know if to laugh, cry, or put a brick through a window somewhere. It's that bad. It really is. As I said, we've been going to Pompey now for many years, and like 97 was my first game, and I haven't seen anything this bad. It is shocking. Here's a quadruple subs coming now. Marquis is making his way off the pitch. Harrison coming on, and Bolton will make a change with somebody in a minute. But you said it earlier. We haven't seen a game this bad in a long time, and maybe even ever. I think retro Sean's the same. Retro shirt Sean's the same as me. We wear the old shirts with a bit of nostalgia to think of happy times. Because at the moment, I don't want to put on my shirt from the season. At the moment,
happy times.
This morning I went out for a run this morning, and I wore a training top from 2007, 2008. I was like, "Come on, something good, something happy."
I can confirm the changes for you. Rasmus Nicolaison's made his way off the pitch alongside, and then he will be replaced by Harvey White, and I believe it was George Byers that's come off.
Ronan Curtis
and Ronan Curtis will be leaving the pitch as well. But at the minute, gents, I don't think substitutions make any difference on this. Even if we got 2 back, it's still a 4-2 loss, isn't it? Against a side that with this win have now just about propped themselves above the drop zone from League One. I know we spoke about it before the game. I'll send this one to the negative, if I may. But before their win against Plymouth Argyle on Tuesday night, mate, this team hadn't won since the 29th of December 2020. And, they've had, 7 points from a possible 30 in 10 games?
It's shocking, isn't it? Where do you think we go from here then? Do you think we're out of the playoffs and we give up for this season and hope he resigns at the end of the year? Is that
well, his contract goes at the end of June anyway. It's finished. The 4-year deal's done. So that was the starting point. We've all been saying, look, just pay him up, go now, and let somebody else just take over the last 14 games after this one.
And
because
seems like
that point, we'd have some hope. We'd all have some hope and enjoy the last 14 games. At the minute,
just missed it. Oh, we were watching
first chance we've had in the whole game.
An hour, in the whole hour.
Yeah.
Brendan, for you, how much are you expecting a statement to come our way come 5:15?
Well, I think a lot of people are praying for it. A lot of people want it. I'll be honest, I'll be shocked if it comes. I really will be. But I think for the goodness of the club, it needs to happen. There needs to be a change up. I know Andrew mentioned Gary O'Neill earlier. I know he's just signed off with AFC Bournemouth, so I can't see him coming down. As you said, I think Aaron said it a minute ago, maybe they've made some phone calls already to line somebody up. And as you said, we don't think we would have heard something by now if something's been lined up, Like the time we brought in Vladimir Zajec as a director of football when Harry was in charge, And it was like, oh, Harry's gone now. Zajec's now in charge. We won't have that.
It's never been snap decision, knee-jerk decisions, has it, from this particular management structure above Kenny? And I know we've still got to watch our words, but the thing is, all we've watched.
Right.
Sorry, mate. Go on.
Sorry, that ball back to McGilvery.
Yeah, perfect. It's almost comical, isn't it? How bad, and it doesn't even look like in the last 15 minutes or so, Brendan, that we've come out and wanted to turn this one around. It's still been all Northampton.
It has, yeah. As we saw earlier on, we had more possession than them in the first half, but then possession doesn't win you football matches, does it? It's putting the ball in the net wins your games. You know, and people like comically saying that Jacket said at the start of the season, "Oh, we lost on corners," you know, or we won on corners, whatever it was. Everyone starts throwing that at him, you know. But
when a manager says after losing at Doncaster midweek and we were poor, very poor, that we were worse than this actually. At Doncaster, I thought this is bad, but we were worse at Doncaster on Tuesday. And when Jacket
Northampton haven't actually allowed us to show us how bad we are, have they? They've just been playing on the football.
And Jacket says we lost a good way to lose.
Yeah.
How can the manager of a football club says it's a good way to lose? What sort of a sporting attitude is that? You can't have that comment from the manager, can you?
No, I'd rather someone be angry. You know, like the Crawley manager came out, was it earlier this season, and people criticised him on his substitutions. He's like, "Oh, I'm the manager. I make the subs." You know, takes responsibility for what he's done.
Yeah,
and you saw it with Cookie with his interviews. You know, he was very stern and abrupt, and he was like, when we lost, he said, "We'll make the changes and we will go again." You know, he sort of made a point of it. Where I think Kenny just sort of like goes around the question, and someone asks him something, he sort of deflects it a little bit, you know, and answers around it.
Well, I want to ask this question, Tom. Doncaster game, after the Doncaster game, Ollie from Pompey News Now interviewed him on Pompey News Now, and he asked him a question. The actual football club media management there. He asked him directly on iPlayer, what could you have done at half time to change it? We were 2-0 down at that point. What could you have done at half time to change it, Kenny? Or what should you have done at half time to change the game? And he just avoided the question completely and started talking about their first goal and how we had a chance in the first minute, which we did, to be fair, but it went wide. And that's the only chance we had in the whole game until the 94th minute when we got a consolation by luck. But when he asked him the question, he didn't even answer it because he ain't got the plan 1 and he ain't got plan 2. No. He doesn't know how to change it. He don't know. Look, what has he said to them at half time to make it change? It's exactly the same. And he brings on 4 players and we're still playing the same garbage.
No, exactly. I think the team is on the pitch now. I think the players he's brought on should probably have started the game. I know it's too late to say it now, but I think
I agree. I agree with you.
Bolton should have been at right back instead of Watmore.
Yeah.
I would have taken. I would have started Raggett. I would have started Nicolaisen over Raggett myself.
Yep.
I don't know why Brown's even in the starting lineup. Brown doesn't bring anything.
He's toilet. He's toilet. Brown's toilet.
Yeah, and he come out in the paper earlier this year in an interview about getting abuse from the North stands. Well, yeah, because you bloody deserve it, mate. You know, I don't like taking players off, but you deserve it, mate.
Yeah, Lionel Messi doesn't get any abuse, does he?
No, exactly, because he performs, you know?
Exactly. You get paid $5,000 a week to do nothing.
Yeah, you know, it was like that time, was it last year when Xhaka got subbed off for Arsenal and the fans started jeering him, you know, he told the fans to F off and he took his armband off, took his shirt off and threw it on the floor, you know, and it's like, you know, then obviously he cost them the game today as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but I admired that because he showed some passion. He showed that he cared.
Yeah,
you know, he walked off in anger. He was upset. He was very, very upset about the whole thing and give it all that. It was that's a response you want, isn't it? You want somebody to be a little bit aggressive, don't you?
Can I ask Alex on the negative a very sort of straightforward and simple question, which I'm sure you'll explore as much as you wish to, mate. But what is your position on Kenny Jacket as Portsmouth manager right now?
I mean, I'm always one for giving people time, but I think we were all getting frustrated towards the end of last season, weren't we? And we kind of all accepted and said, right, we'll have one more go at it this year. Fingers crossed he can put the team together he needs to and get us up. But I think there's also a train of thought that says, like, if we get promoted with him and then he signs a new contract for another 4 years, it's not going to put us in a great position either, is it? So I think he's got to go. I think we need someone better.
Now?
I don't think he will, but he should. But I don't think he will. I mean, Brendan, I don't think he'll go till the end of his season. I think he'll stay his contract out. But then he should go at the end of the season. Then we'll probably have to reset. Hopefully, someone good still around to bring in, because we need to be out of this league, don't we? With our budget, with our fan base, with our history, like we've got to be able to create more than we are right now.
I'd make this point. Coventry got promoted to the Championship last season. They came out with us the previous year. Luton have went up to the Championship, and they've gone up there, and they've got no fans, they've got no money, they've got no stadium.
But Luton have really established themselves.
Well in the Championship.
Alex said it on
Coventry
the stream
have
that
themselves
you have to walk through someone's lounge to get into Luton Town, don't you? And they're an established Championship side.
Exactly. So it's not about how many fans you've got, is it? It's about playing football on the pitch. Accrington Stanley get 1,500 fans, but they'll be above us on Tuesday night. Well,
yeah, but the best players and the best managers tend to come to the biggest clubs as well. That still happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It does.
We've got the draw to be able to move ahead into the Championship, haven't we? We should be able to achieve that.
Yeah, but not with management.
With our financial position compared to a lot of other clubs in this league, given what the world's been through in the last 12 months, like we should have an advantage, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
And we're not using it at all.
No.
So I think everyone has got. I mean, have you heard anybody say he should stay? Have you?
That's what I said at the start of the stream, or when when the fourth one went in. I said
two people, Mark Catlin and Mike Eisner.
Well, I said that any Pompey fan right now sitting watching this, or let
me just do that. We're all earning big money, aren't we, at the minute? So why would you want to disrupt it? Keep it nice and sweet. Keep the Americans sweet. Keep taking the cash, and we get mugged off.
Those are not the views of Fournilwrittenalloverit. Those are the views of Andrew and Andrew solely. I would just like to say that just for legal reasons, I probably should. But I wonder what you make of that, Brendan. What Dad's just said there.
Well, I tend to agree with him a bit. It is a lot of it is doing money. As long as fans are buying shirts and fans are buying shirts and fans buying iFollow and buying the merchandise on the memorabilia store. Buying the floodlight from the North Stand. They're going to continue to do it, and They can't. They weren't doing any extra spending to get rid of Jacket. I think Alexander said the same thing. It's going to be an end of the season, end of contract jobby. And
the point is, they don't need to spend any money to get rid of him. Just pay the rest of his salary up to the end of the season and say, go now. You can go early. Things aren't going as well as they should do. Why don't you just go early? Take early retirement from the club. There's your dosh. Off you go.
I'm going to pay it anyway, aren't they?
You're going to pay it anyway. So what's the problem?
Yeah. True.
Charlie Daniels can step up and run the football club, the team for the next 10 games or so.
Yeah, Barry Harris could be his.
Barry Harris could do it, couldn't he?
Yeah, and Barry Harris and Kev the Kitman. That'd be a lineup.
It was a happy birthday to Kev the Kitman, by the way, yesterday. So
I tell you what, with those two in charge, though, you'd have some passion, you'd have some aggression. You get what we're lacking here is desire and passion and proper Pompey attitude.
Yeah, it is, and I think we're lacking sort of someone who's with COVID and everything at the moment. It's stopping sort of travel in people, because I think if we weren't in this times, we'd have someone. If not, obviously the fans would be there, but I think you'd have a legend at the club will come back and give a speech and rant the lads like Merson or Lindboy or somebody who's going to say, look, this like Bawley did back in the day. People went to war from this city.
Bit of Avram as well. They'll never take our spirit.
Avram
and then Kenny Jackett comes out with, it's a good way to lose.
Exactly.
No comparison. I was going to say to you, Brendan, Kevin Prince Boateng's birthday today. That's another good name, isn't it?
The semi-final penalty scorer, and then missed the penalty in the final, which we could have won the game with.
We'll gloss over that one, mate. It's his birthday.
Petr Cech pulled up a great save.
Yeah,
he was quality, though, wasn't he? In fairness, the Prince.
He was
good.
I remember that goal he scored against Tottenham when he volleyed it. He's on the volley, wasn't it, at the back post, and he smashed it.
Yeah.
And now we're losing 4-0 to Northampton Town away from home in League One.
Yeah, exactly. It's what I said earlier about wearing the retro shirts. Something to bring you some good memories to think about. I think Paul Walsh wore this shirt. What I'd pray to have him playing now.
Well, it was we tried to have.
I'm going to have to cut across you there for a moment. Pompey have a penalty. I can confirm to you. It is a penalty in the box, and it's Harvey White who's been brought down. And I believe it will be.
It wasn't a penalty though.
Jack Sowerby, and the referee is just.
That wasn't a pen.
It's it's given us ample opportunity to get back into this one.
Well, Ellis Harris will be taking it, will he, Tom?
Well,
I think Harvey White might take it.
It will be Ellis Harrison.
Is this a penalty? What?
It will be Ellis Harrison, and yes, it's a penalty for me.
Is it?
Jack Sowerby's got nowhere near the ball for me, and it's a correct decision from the referee. And it will be Ellis Harrison to step up and take this, and I'll let us all watch Brendan's reaction to this. Here we go.
Hooray! Who remembers Istanbul 2005?
Keeper got a hand to it, but that is now 4-1 Pompey, and Alex on the negative.
4-1 Northampton, you mean?
I know. Sorry, 4-1 Northampton. Yeah, crikey, there's pipe dream in there. I know you've got a busy afternoon on your hands, mate, and you probably don't want to spend it all afternoon with us discussing a 4-1 defeat. But your closing word, if you're shooting off, and if you are or not, but just give us your just tell us.
What should I give you? What should I give you, Tom? I mean,
give us whatever you can, mate. Right now, we're clutching at straws desperately.
I think, well, hopefully the silver lining has to be that if we'd have got promoted this season, Jacket would have signed a new deal and he'd be with us for another 4 years. The fact that we're definitely not going to means we're going to have someone else. It's disappointing, but hopefully it means we can reset, as I said earlier, and get ourselves up into the league we deserve to be in. But yeah, disappointing, obviously, from the results over the last few weeks and today.
Yeah, and I take your point now. I think the thing is, if we think it through, if we stay in League One next season, if we were, I tell you now, if we were looking like finishing top of the league or in the second spot this season, and they said there's going to be a new manager for next season, if Catlin came out and said that, and we were in the playoffs even, and there's new manager next season, this is who it's going to be, and we're going to go to the Championship, and we're going to play good football, and sell another 4,000 season tickets today for next season. Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be sold out of season tickets tonight if that statement came out. But here we are, still in the playoffs, and that's the thing. We're still in the playoffs until Tuesday night. That's where I'd say, because Accrington win, we're out of the playoffs, aren't we?
We actually mathematically can't drop out of the playoffs today, but for one reason or another, that means absolutely nothing.
I mean, yeah,
doesn't it?
if we keep playing as we are, we're not going to finish in the playoffs, are we?
Yeah, exactly.
Brandon, how far did you run today?
I did a 5K today. My first full 5K since I've had all my illness problems over the last 2 years, and it was nice to finally get out and do my old park run course that I've been doing.
Well, that's a positive to take from today, isn't it, mate?
Good, mate.
Yeah.
I'm going out after this to get rid of the adrenaline, just to go out I'll just do 4 or 5K probably just to get rid of the adrenaline, because I need something to clear my head. Look how red my face is.
Reverend, we're also having a Taj tonight, by the way, as well.
So, a Taj takeaway tonight. We had a proper football day today. We thought it was going to be a really good day today. We had a burger at lunchtime, didn't we?
We did.
A homemade one, that is. And then we had some jammy dodgers for watching the football and a cup of tea. Then we're going to have some beers and a Taj tonight. Taj takeaway. Have a right old knees up with a good win.
Normally it's Sunday night, Taj, isn't it?
It's had to come 24 hours early, mate, given what we've seen today.
Yeah, fair enough. I think
we pulled it forward, mate, to cheer ourselves up.
Yeah, got to be done. Thanks for having me, boys. I'm going to shoot. Good to see you.
Cheers, mate. Speak to you soon. That was Alex on the negative, who's very kindly joined us. Brendan, you're welcome to stick around for a couple more minutes, mate, and we'll see how the next sort of 15 minutes or so goes. Sean McWilliams has been taken off for Northampton Town. It is Danny Rose that I don't know. It might be Danny Rose that's making his way onto the field. And here is Harvey White and Lee Brown. Brendan, just finally, mate, you're does a penalty from Ellis Harrison, does that ease your pain ever so slightly?
Ever so slightly. Not much though. Not much in it though. At least he hit it cleanly. You know, if Marcus takes a penalty, he normally scuffs it with his heel into the bottom corner. But I'll take a goal. I'll take a goal. You know, at the moment. But again, it's just a consolation. There's nothing else to it. You know, 15 minutes left. As you said, 15 minutes to go. I can't see us doing much more. There's no sub. We can make one more sub, and even then, I don't know who the hell we're going to bring on.
He's gone for it with the 4, isn't he? I think that's probably the boldest I've ever seen Kenny Jackett be.
Yeah.
Angus, this is a question from Angus. I assume it's to you, Andrew. I'd rather you didn't tell us what you thought, but perhaps to Brendan. Do you think Jackett is arrogant, has created a toxic environment? Definitely seems that way, doesn't it, right now?
It does, and I have heard some things about Jackett's arrogance in the past, and through current about interviews that former players that he's been under have said, like the famous ones, what Jamie O'Hara said on the football podcast he used to do, and he said that Jackett got rid of like 5 of their senior players. Is like him and I can't remember the other players, Kevin Doyle, and like other like proper decent players at Wolves, and Kenny just banished them to play with the academy lads, and don't come in before 3 o'clock when everyone goes home. So obviously fell out with Pittman. I don't know where the hell Ben Close is at the moment. I don't know if he's injured or if he's not being selected. He's another player who should be in and around the squad. But yeah, I think he has. I think it's sad to say his time's up. You know, I don't like saying Pompey managers need to be sacked. You know, unless something's terribly wrong, which at the moment, you know, it is. And to sort of compare it, I was talking to my boss at work, who's a big rugby fan, and he was saying a lot about Eddie Jones, the England current manager, saying a lot of people are chanting him to get out, but he's been like the most successful England manager. He's lost like 2 games in the last 9 or something.
Yeah, and England have got plenty of injuries, haven't they? And plenty of almost rebuilding the side again from last season, aren't we?
It's alongside Liverpool, doesn't it? They're completely injury stricken at the moment, and they've gone on a bad run. Pompey have got absolutely nothing in terms. Well, Michael Jacobs, and that's it. And I mean, one player doesn't make a team, does it? Brendan, we're going to give 10 minutes of commentary, and then we'll be straight back with you for full time alongside everyone else. And I would imagine that this conversation is going to go on long into our Saturday evening. But there we have it. Brendan, thank you for the moment, mate, and we will be back with you in just a few moments. Andrew, we're 4-1 down against Northampton Town. Just 12 minutes on the clock for us. This is Andy Cannon now for Pompey. Apologies if you were with us expecting a bit of a commentary for the second half, but it's just been nothing to tell you about. It's been pretty much all Northampton Town and Pompey have got a consolation. If it's going to be anything more than that, I will be extremely surprised. It definitely has sort of lightened spirits at the moment. James Bolton's put in a deep cross that Lee Brown will try and get on the end of. That one will go wide,
from Lee Brown,
and that will be a goal kick for the home side at Sixfields. You join myself and Andrew live on Fournilwrittenalloverit. If you haven't yet dropped us a subscribe and you've been with us this afternoon, then please do consider doing so. We've been live for you since we haven't been able to be at Fratton Park, and we will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. Just 11 minutes. 11 minutes to play, and we can finally just take a bit of a breather. Raggett is chasing one down, and that will probably be a foul from the referee. He's not going to give it. James Bolton is have dug one out and fired one southwards, as it were, and towards us where our camera vantage point is right now, and it's Ryan Edmondson who's on the pitch protesting to the referee that I'm injured, and how could that not have been a foul? But James Bolton took that one down well, and I'm very much clutching at straws in terms of commentary for you right now. And it's going to be that way until the final whistle, unfortunately. Kenny Jackett made his substitutions, Andrew, and you could argue that things improved since then.
Well, I think Northampton have said, well, look, we're winning this game 4-1. There's real no point in killing ourselves. Obviously, Pompey have got to come at us. Let's just sit back and let us play it around a little bit and just keep it at the same scoreline. I would suggest that's what they're looking to do.
Retro Shirt Sean has asked to myself and yourself, who would you keep out of this squad for next season? A lot of players out of contract. A good opportunity for significant changes over a short time. I think that's a really good point, Sean, and I'm sure we'll discuss it with you come the end of this one. And I've just realised that the banner is horrendously wrong, scrolling across the bottom of your screen. So many apologies on my behalf for that one. And I'm going to have to reach down here in order to change it. And that says 412. It'd be lovely if it was 412, but sadly that's not the case. And there will be some patching up for Sean Raggett to happen. But I think it's a big old shout in order for and if you could just take a look at this, mate, and tell us what your thoughts are. But a good opportunity
who would you keep
for
out of this
significant change.
A lot of players out of contract, a good opportunity for significant changes over a short time. I would probably, if I'm honest, I'd like to see some pace in the side because we've got none of that. We watched Doncaster the other night. A lot of pace midfield, a lot of pace on both wings. We got nothing, have we? Let's face it. We hoof it 45 yards. That's got to stop. But that's about the management in it. So the players, who would I keep? To be honest, I think I'd probably keep quite a lot of them. The ones I would definitely let go. Raggett, I would definitely let him go. Definitely let him go. That's for sure. And that's not me giving a Raggett out situation. I've said it all my life. Frankly, the guy is not a championship centre half. He's not even a League One centre half.
David has asked, Andrew, you're Catlin tonight. What do you do and who do you get in? I think it's redundant of David to be asking that and even
David,
me to put it on to you.
Happily, if I'm Catlin tonight, I'd come out and make a statement. I'd have Kenny Jackett in the office. I'd say he can't do that, of course, because he needs to speak to the Americans to get their approval on what he wants to do. And they're not going to do that tonight, are they? Because they don't do that, do they? Let's face it. But if I'm Catlin, I'd be ringing the Yanks and I'd be saying, look, this is all going horribly wrong. We've got probably 14 games of salvage here. Otherwise, we're going to lose the Pompey faithful. I need to do something. Otherwise, I'm going to look like I'm a dick. The problem is he's backed him all the way, hasn't he? Catlin has backed Jackett all the way along this bumpy old road we've been on. How can he now, 3.5 years later, go back and say they got the wrong man? Difficult position to find yourself in as a CEO, isn't it? I would suggest he won't sleep that well tonight.
It's times like this, unless he makes a call tonight. It's times like this we wished Roman Abramovich was our owner. He would have sacked Jackett 30 times by now.
Yeah, there's a difference between sacking people the way Abramovich sacks people, and we're all for giving people time, aren't we? But you've got to be seeing it after second season. You've got to be seeing it that actually this is not working. We have not got promoted again and again and again. And you're on £500,000 a year to get this football club into the Championship. It's League One football. We're not talking Champions League here, are we? We're not talking Jose Mourinho. We're talking about League One football. Just look at Wickham, look at Coventry. Name one of their players in Coventry. Name their manager at Coventry. Luton, all these teams we keep talking about. Brentford is a good example. I use this one quite a lot. And then anyone listening to this, Brentford Football Club, we've been there many times in West London. It's a pikey little shed in the West End of London.
Used to be.
It's now a 30,000-seater, brand new, beautiful stadium on expensive real estate that's been bought by the football club, and they play the best football in the Championship by far. And that's a great club now. They're going to get 30,000 people in that stadium when they get back. What do? We're new tapping us in our toilet in the South Stand, and we repaint the Milton End, and we talk about if we get new infrastructure in place around the Fratton Station, we'll build a new stand for the away fans. I'd say to you, why do we need to build a new away stand for 200 Morecambe fans next season? It's camouflage. It's just we're not interested.
85 minutes on the clock at Sixfields. We are guiding you through this one. That'll more than definitely be a foul and perhaps a card from the referee. It will be a yellow for the Northampton Town number 8 Ryan Watson, who will be in no way, shape, or form annoyed about that because he's scored 3 so far this afternoon. Sorry, it wasn't Ryan Watson. Now, according to EFL, it was Mikel Miller. Marcus Harness has stood over this one. He's going to get the ball in. Anthony Martin is
great ball in from Brown. Did you see that?
Long-term viewer of the show has said that
Brown?
Andrew for new CEO.
Did you see that?
Just love you in charge, mate.
Just tapped it in. I'll tell you what I would be if I was Mark Catlin's office. I'd have him in my office tonight, and I'd be giving him his P45, and I'll be saying to him, cheerio, me old mate, you've paid up to the end of the season, you're off. We got a chance then, guys.
That's Jackett, not Catlin.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. This is Daniel Sturton. He has said the Eisners want to be the nice guy who support their staff. A statement made when they renewed Jackett's contract. You mentioned that earlier on. Doesn't quite work in this sport. I don't think they realise that.
You can support your staff, Tom. Support your staff, but for how long do you give them? We've given him enough time. We're not sacking like Abramovich, and I agree we shouldn't have done that. Probably the second season.
There's a fine line, isn't there, between stuff like Frank Lampard and what we're seeing in front of us. Of course,
we have 4 years, mate. That's plenty of time. The point I'd make to that comment is the Eisners have got to smell the coffee. They might not want to. They might want to support their staff, but that's 10 or 12 people in the board, right? There's 30,000 Pompey fans. There's 500,000 people in this city, in this area, that support this football club, and people across the world in Vancouver and the US and all over.
Well, we see it on here week in, week out.
And they ought to support us, didn't they? Support us a little bit. And we're the people who pay for it. We're the customers. We're the people that wear these shirts with a heart on the sleeve. We're the boys that really matter. Not Kenny Jackett and his little gang of cronies. It's a joke. I'm fed up with it.
Jay has asked, Andrew, Tom, just a quick question. If you had to work out where the passion has gone, what would your answer be? We were top 2 months ago. To be honest, Jay, the passion had gone before Ipswich in December 2019.
The passion was never there with Jackett.
If you go back onto the channel, if you happen to spend any time flicking through some of the videos that we've made over the years, you made a very it was a very powerful message before we got going on the Ipswich video back in December, as I say, 2019. Your words were, show some passion, Kenny, let's get it on. And I think anyone who saw that video will remember it as well as I do. That was what, a year and a couple of months ago, coming up to 18 months ago, perhaps.
Tom, unfortunately, I've said it a number of times. You need a Corden moment in the dressing room. You need a James Corden type attitude to football. That's what they got at Wycombe Wanderers. That's how they got promoted. They aren't the best team in the world.
They're the best team in the world.
Club. Anybody
doesn't matter. Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. Yes, okay, things aren't going well, but they did brilliant things last season. Pep Guardiola consistently at every football club he's been at. Mate. Imagine Jose Mourinho in the away dressing room at the Sixfields in 2 maybe 3 minutes time, depending on what's added on. They would come out of that room different men. And you can imagine it will be. It'll give them all the credit, won't it?
If they caught us off guard, give them all the credit. I'd like to see Jackett explain yourself after this game to all of us. Come on this channel and explain yourself. Let's have a conversation.
Well,
I'll ask him a few questions, Tom.
I'm sure you would. Can you remember? I would do my very best to get that arranged for you, but I can somehow, unfortunately, tell you that isn't something that we'd be able to arrange tonight, Andrew. I'm sure.
Okay, we know that Ollie from News Now is watching this. No, we know that. Ollie, why don't you ask Kenny? Ask him to come out and be honest with. To be honest with everyone.
I know, but we're not going there. We're gonna leave that conversation now. Shauna said, "Do you think Jackett has a hairdryer?" I think that relates quite nicely to. There we go. Anyway, 90 minutes now is it's minute 90.
I'll tell you now, Tom. If I had a hairdryer, I'd throw it in that changing room.
I'm sure you would,
but it wouldn't be at the players. It would be at Jackett.
Lee. Looking forward to it, mate. Cannot wait to see it. It's going to be a little bit of respite tonight.
Anyone looking to Saturday night takeaway?
Looking forward to it. Anyway, we are very, very shortly going to be approaching the end of this one. Please do stick around, ladies and gents. We've got plenty to come up for you in the next. I don't know how long we'll be discussing this absolute coswallop, but we will do for the. For long into the evening, I would imagine we'll be sat discussing. I'll
tell you what though, Tom, we've scored a penalty, so it's a good way to lose.
Yeah, we'll be discussing with our guests in just a few moments. There will be 5 additional minutes at the end of this one. We are still live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. We have been for sort of. Nearly 3 hours now, and we've watched. But is this?
I didn't answer that question about if I was captain tonight. I didn't answer it properly. What I would say is, Kenny, come into the office. Now, you've had 3.5 years. You've had all the money. You've had all the support from all of us, 100%, including the Americans. Now, it isn't working, is it? It's not going to work, is it? What happened today? Explain yourself, and I expect you to resign tonight. That's what I would be saying to him.
Is that the only way out of it right now? Is a resignation from Kenny?
Yes, it is, because they aren't going to sack him. So he should stand up and have the courage of his own convictions and stand up and be a person, be a man, and give us all a chance in life. It's a tough world out there at the minute, Tom, and it's very disappointing that he hasn't got it in his locker to What a save from McGilvery.
Could nearly have been 5 there quite easily. It's Ryan Edmondson who's worked his way down the right-hand side, managed to get his shot away. But unfortunately, wasn't to be for the home side.
Look at what's Raggett doing. Turns his back on him, runs away from him. Look at it. It's pathetic. There's 4 defenders there. Watch Raggett turn his back on the man and run away from him.
How
you just get in front of him, don't you? Don't let him get shot away.
You've been watching Pompey for a number of years. Is there a game that you can remember when we performed worse than this?
Yeah, most of the season.
I don't think that's true. I think you're just saying that as a flippant comment. I'm asking from your experience. I think it'd be a really good judgment to make. I don't know if you can remember a poorer Pompey performance.
It's making a fuss in the corner because it's the 90th minute and they're holding the ball up in the corner and then they're all pretending they really want to fight for it.
Would you mind answering?
They're a bunch of carpet monkeys, Tom.
Would you mind answering the question?
What?
Is this the worst Pompey performance you've seen for quite a while now?
No, I've seen plenty this season, mate. In fact, plenty for the last 3 years, Tom.
This one doesn't top it all off for you?
No, not really. It's just garbage, isn't it?
Okay. 3 minutes of the 90 has been played on our watch. We are still live on Fournilwrittenalloverit. If by any chance you haven't yet dropped us a subscribe, then that'd be much appreciated. And yeah, we're almost there. Almost there. Thank the Lord. It's approaching 5 o'clock. Beautiful Saturday evening outside. At least the weather's on our side. Jay said, Andrew, I completely agree. Today is no different to any other day, any other game. Sorry, bar our opposition has actually been clinical and punished us. And the problem that lies in front of us, and we'll put it to our guests in a minute, is if this is as bad as we can perform against Northampton Town, who are 22nd in the division, what is the next 14 games in League One going to entail from us? I really...
Well, we've only got Sunderland next, haven't we?
We're only the small matter of playing Sunderland.
What's the score for Sunderland tonight?
I believe they've beaten their opponents. I think it was 2-0 the last time I checked. Not a full-time score right now. But it very shortly will be here at Sixfield. Mickey has said, can't see it getting any worse. I predict mid-table, but next season, new manager and fans back in to roar the team on for promotion. That's all we can really look forward to right now. Mickey, thank you very much for your comment. As we're nearing the end of this one, we're going to add Alex back into the screen. Mate, thank you for jumping back on. You can tell we're getting a little bit close to the borderline comments.
Yeah, full time. Thank God. It's just finished. It's just come through on my phone.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. What do we say? I mean, Peterborough have gone and lost 2-0 to Burton today. So, what do you think they're saying?
Yeah.
The difference is they're in the top 2,
and they're allowed a day off. We've had too many days off.
Weeks off.
Yeah, and Darren will be in their changing room giving it to them tonight. But let's watch Kenny. Well done, lads. Well done, Northampton. You've played really well. We were crap, but you did really well. You played really well. I'm really pleased with that performance. And let's see if I can applaud the players off.
How did we look in the second half? If you're being honest, if it was a 1.5 game, did we look any better?
No. Northampton had all of the ball. They didn't, possession-wise. If you look at the stats, it looks like we had like 70, which I do not believe and I cannot comprehend. The only thing I would say is that the Harrison penalty probably just about put a stop to any 5th, 6th, 7th for Northampton. I think that's the only thing that
the only reason that it hasn't changed, the score hasn't changed that much, is because Northampton sort of sat on a 4-0 lead and just let us play around a little bit. So they gave us a bit of the football, really, because they've done enough, haven't they? And they're just thinking, well, we ain't going to get 8, but it's a shame they didn't, really, because that could be really embarrassing then.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Harrison penalty on Gillette, and it did look like like you said, they were trying to miss. So, he did his best to miss, and the keeper just maybe thought, well, they're already 4 down, so let's let him have a little bit of a consolation.
Yeah.
Are there any lines to be read between right now, Alex, do you think, in terms of what's happening? Oh, sorry, before I ask you the question, we're watching the iFollow coverage. Who's the Northampton Town manager, Alex? Remind me. I know it's changed.
No, not a clue, mate. I thought
Anyway,
they would. Yeah.
Whatever his name is, that's besides the point. He's just looked up to the iFollow camera. He knows exactly where it is. He's given a big old applaud to the Northampton Town fans watching from home. Kenny stood preparing his fist punches for the technical area on the opposite side to him.
And now he's gone.
Yeah, but we've known that, and that's always been a little bit of a bug of mine, that Kenny has never really got to become one with the fans, has he? He's never really been that guy to come in the away end and give you a round of applause. I remember when we were at Cheltenham that year when we lost 3-0 and Connor Chaplin tried the Panenka penalty when we were 3-0 down, and then there was fans staying there singing their hearts out after the game. And I remember Cookie coming out and having a word with people and talking to people and saying, thanks for the support and everything. And we just lost that game 3-0 and it was disgraceful. But you just think, Kenny, I just don't think he's got the backbone. He's not willing to speak to people about football. He's just too nice of a guy, but it doesn't get you anywhere being a nice guy, because I think that it doesn't make you kind of one with the fans, and it also doesn't make the players, I think anything's going to happen if they get beat 4-1 by Northampton. I can't imagine. I was speaking to my dad at half time, and we were saying, do you think he's giving them the hairdryer in change room at half time? I don't think he would be. I can't imagine. No, I can't imagine Kenny Jackett shouting at anyone, and I can imagine if he did shout at them, they'd just be going. You could imagine they'd be telling him to, shut up and stuff, because it's just that type of. It feels like that's the type of, mentality they've got in the thing. I don't think that he's gained the respect from the players, because it probably is. They've seen this for 3 years now, and they've also seen how he does just, freeze people out in the team, and we've seen it. So, I don't think the players are kind of. I can't really think of any players that I imagine, are thinking, oh yeah, Kenny's the right man for the job at the moment. And I don't know. Obviously, we'll never know because we're not in the changing room. But you are right with all the stuff they've come out with this week. I can't believe Jack Watmore is saying that this is the best spirit he's ever seen in a Pompey team. That is, I cannot believe that for it's just, how can he say that when we went up in League Two and that was probably the best spirit you've ever seen in a Pompey team? But so it just feels like things are being put in the players' mouths at the moment, and that's never a good sign. But
we've been discussing all afternoon, Alex, about the possibility of something happening tonight. Not trying to blow our own trumpet here in any way, shape or form, but if anything was incoming, I probably would have had a message or two about it by now from a couple of people that I won't name. And it's been very, very quiet, and there's been nothing to report. And there probably won't be for tonight. How much does that frustrate you as a Pompey fan? And if I know that I might be completely wrong, and there might be something in the being prepared at the moment, but how much does that frustrate you as a Pompey fan right now, that you don't feel like this is going to change anytime soon?
Yeah, it's frustrating because it does. It's just disinterested. That's what it is. It makes us all disinterested in anything that's going on. You don't look forward to Saturday afternoon. You don't look forward to Tuesday night. It's not something that you're kind of planning your week round thinking this is I'm looking forward to this. It's not something to look forward to anymore. It's just something that happens, and it passes it by, and there's probably going to be an inevitable disappointment at the end of it. We win games and there's always that little thing in the back of our head thinking, this is still keeping Jackie in the job. So it's like there's a no-win situation for us at the moment, and I think that I don't know if it's the mentality, if we just sack him and go, right, well that's enough, because I don't think teams should just be sacking managers left, right, and centre. But I do agree that Jackie's had his chance now. I just think I don't know who's coming in, and when we're speaking to Sam, I think he's probably right that potentially if you do bring someone in now, the only worry for me is that it's got to be an appointment that's fast to try and go on.
Well, I was just going to say we'll speak to Sam now if you're willing to stick around for a second, Alex. He's back, and you were just mentioning him there. Your immediate reaction to that now, mate?
Yeah, just just waiting for the club's next move. To be honest, I think that second half was all a bit, just didn't really care about it. Wasn't really watching the game. Was just kind of flitting in and out between watching the game and going on Twitter. But yeah, tonight and tomorrow morning will make it be very clear to all of us where our club is kind of heading, in the sense, are we just a League One side now, or is there any kind of ambition to try and get out this league and look forward and be progressive? Because if there's no statement tonight, I think it tells us all we need to know about what Catlin, what the owners, where their heads are at, and what they want to do. Because I don't think you can use the excuse of the coronavirus anymore as not paying him off. And you know, he's only got 3 months left of his contract. They're billionaires in the nicest possible way. And as Andrew said earlier, that won't be an issue to them. They've got to make the decision. You know, imagine they made the decision tonight. You know, Pompey, they get a new manager in, they give him 5 months to the end of the season. He's got 5 months to prepare for the new season. This season can still be salvaged. The players will still be tried. They've got something to play for then. You know, there's still so much to play for in this season.
Yeah, I do agree with that comment, in the sense that if we did get a new manager in, it then makes the players' mentality, they've got to play for this new manager and earn their place. Otherwise, he's just shipping them out because he's not wanting them anymore. And obviously the players know this season, if they don't perform and they're, you know, on the bottom of the list in terms of performances this season, we just get rid of Kenny because it's the end of his contract. It probably doesn't automatically mean a new manager is going to come in and you know, get rid of them because he's seen them not play well. He's not had a chance for them to play under him. And like you said earlier, I don't think we've got, you know, bad players. We've got a team that could easily be getting out of this league. I mean, I'm not saying that these players are championship level, but I'm saying they're definitely, you know, a lot of them are cut above a lot of the teams in this league. But I think that might be the problem. I think a lot of them, like Curtis and stuff, think that they're a lot better than they are. You know, he's had a few good performances here and there, but it's not consistently good. It's not, you know, the level that we need it to be to go up. And teams like when Peterborough, obviously they didn't go up last season, but Ivan Toney was scoring every week. And obviously
now, Alex.
Well, exactly, and there's rumours, you know, that Arsenal are going to be putting a bid in for him, and I think that is just, it's mental. But equally, he's 24. But I just don't think there's enough players in this dressing room with a bit of metal about them. You know, in the league we went up. Obviously, it was League Two. We had Michael Doyle, who was always the motivator, and I do think Tom Nader's got aspects of it in his game, but there's not enough of the leadership in the team, and I just think the backbone's been lost.
Sam, I know you have a couple of contacts at the football club. For me, I haven't heard anything from any of the people that would normally be suggesting any kind of change. I wonder, I know this might be a difficult one to answer, but from where you sit, what do you feel like, you know, this isn't a good sign, is it, that anything will change this evening? And as you quite rightly say, and as I've just liked on Twitter, the next move is really important, isn't it? And we'll be really interested to see what happens.
Yeah, no, this evening and tomorrow morning, I just think we'll put it all out, and we'll know exactly what the ambitions of the owners are. I haven't heard anything about any. You know, they've always stood by him through any sort of kind of sticky run of form, but you do sense that this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back in that sense, because that performance there was. I'm going to put it out there. That is the worst. That first half is the worst half of football I've ever seen a Pompey team play, and I've been supporting them since I was 7 or 8. And we've
had Ben Chorley and Yassin Musa kill the football team. So.
As I said earlier, that
and Joe De Vera.
That side there with that side with De Vera and Chorley, that was a bad side, but at least we knew they were bad, and they had some kind of comedy. That was a bit of it was quite funny in some sense. Yeah.
Oh, Bonds and Gala's a name, crikey!
Horrible team.
I'll bring you back
got
to
some quality. I think that's what hurts the most. And
bring you back to, and again, we said it again and again and again. We've said it for many seasons now. The last 3 seasons, show some desire, some passion, some respect for this football club and the people that support this football club, because it means so much to all of us. He's got to realise, actually. He's not one of us. We all know that. It's obvious, isn't it? He's there to do a job, to earn money. That's it. There's nothing more than that. And he needs to start. If I was him, And I would honestly be putting my hand up to my boss and saying, look,
it's not working.
I've had 3.5 years. It ain't going to happen. I'll give in now and let somebody else try and get this club into the Championship, because that would be a fair and reasonable thing to do as a person, wouldn't it?
When you look at Jackie's previous jobs as well, with Millwall, Wolves as well, this kind of it's come to a head a very similar way to this. Players to stop playing for him, and then it just kind of comes to a crux, and that's when he does go. I think I've got a feeling this might be me that moment. That's just my gut feeling. Whether that's kind of the fan side of me taking over, but if I had to kind of put money on it, I'd say this might be the turning moment. But also, if it, I've just kind of realised, if it's not tonight, Portsmouth are playing Sunderland, Ipswich, and Peterborough in our next 3 games. We could end up, we could end up losing our. I'm talking about the league because I really couldn't.
I know.
Care about. But we could end up losing 7 games in the space, 7 of our last 10 games.
Go on. I'll ask you this one. I'm going to cut you across. I'll ask you this one, and both of you while you're on the screen. If he went tonight, we would beat Sunderland. We'd probably beat Peterborough, and we'd probably beat Ipswich.
I think this side. This is what I mean. The side's got enough about it. We've got some quality players. We got Michael Jacobs. He's coming back into the side. When he was in the side, he was superb. Their game against Charlton, he was the best player on the pitch by a mile, and you could tell he's a level above. You've got players like him coming back in. Imagine them with a new manager, some fresh ideas. Just give the players something to play for.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think we look at those 3 games and I don't think we pick up 9 points. But I do agree with you. We pick up more than what we got at the moment. And I just think, what is the thought process behind Jack Watmore playing right back today? Why is that ever going to be the case? Why do we have James Bolton, who has, admittedly had games where he's been better than others, but he's not been terrible recently. I don't understand, why is he not slotting in at right back and we bring in Watmore into his preferred position? It baffles me, some decisions that are being made, and it does make you think, is there something underlying that we don't know about that's making these decisions for Jacket? It's surely not decisions you make when you've got fit right backs and fit fullbacks that you're just sticking on the bench to stick a centre half at right back. It baffles me. And that table, obviously, how we slipped away from Sunderland when they were below us.
Well, just take Accrington just below us, 50 points, 31 games. They'll go above us. We drop out of the top 6. Ipswich win another game, and even Charlton down there have got. They've played more games, of course. But Oxford at 47, they could get up to 50 points, couldn't they? There'd be 2 points behind us. We could end up 8th or 9th, couldn't we? In a minute, within 2 games.
What's your immediate gut reaction? As Alex was just saying there, 57 points Sunderland are now on. They were looking seemingly down and out of it, weren't they? At one point,
they changed the manager, Tom. They made that bold decision to sack the manager. They only hired Phil Parkinson last year in the middle of the season, and they sacked him within how long? He must have been there for 8-9 months. They made a decision. They were bold. They took a gamble, and now look. For me, I think Sunderland are one of the teams that are going to go up automatically, because I think they've got a lot of quality in their squad, and they've got a new manager in who's it's kind of a long-term replacement as well, with Lee Johnson playing a good brand of football. They made the decision. Ipswich as well. They've been bold. They've made the decision. Although they had a few results under Lambert recently, he's never been the right man for Ipswich. They've made the decision. They'll be up there as well. I know they didn't win today, but I've just got a feeling they will. Pompey seem like we're in the similar position to they were them in the early in the season. Sunderland were actually mid-table when they made the change, so we're in a better position than what they were. Just make the change. Just give us something. Give the fans something to look forward to. Yeah. It will give the whole club a boost.
Tuesday night, we'd go into it with some real excitement, all of us, wouldn't we? We'd be looking forward to that Tuesday night game if he wasn't there. Regardless who else comes in, just get him out of the way and let's have some, let's just get some hope. That's all we want, some hope.
Just to say as well, Sam, hopefully that you'll be able to confirm your company on Tuesday against Sunderland, and we can have a lot more of of Sam. I know he probably won't want to do it. I'm sure Alex is going to be around as well. But I was planning to do a whole massive build up from 6, and we probably still will do that because we've got plenty to go through. But as Andrew's just said there, it doesn't fulfill with any confidence, does it? I said to a friend of mine called Jacob from SAFC Fan TV earlier on, we're planning to do some previews before the game for you, and I said to him, it's never been a better time to play Pompey right now, and I think that's just been amplified by today's performance, isn't it? I wonder how you feel about that, Alex.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. You look at the Sunderland fans at the moment, we absolutely buzzing to come to Fratton Park. They'll be wishing, they were just in the stadium to be able to watch it, because, they're probably so confident they'll get 3 points off us. We just spineless at the moment, and you're right. It's the best time to play us. Those Sunderland players are going to love coming to Fratton Park to try and do one over on us, because they always, like to play us, and it's a big game. But I just don't think for our side of things, we feel it's a big game anymore, because no game's a big game, because it's just lost interest. And it just fills you with a bit of despair, mate. And you're right, you're vlogging it, or you're doing a video since from 6 o'clock, thinking I really, don't want to be here for an hour before an inevitable, loss to Sunderland. But yeah, it's painful, mate. And I just think, like you say, Andrew, if we just got rid of Jacket, it just breathes a little bit of fresh air. It feels like a new kind of wave of hope, that even if we don't win that game, it's waiting who's going to come in. It's the excitement, and then the foreseeable in the future. And I just think, it's been too long now, and it's really starting to get to a lot of fans.
Thank you very much for that, Alex. Sam, if you're free to just stick around for another couple of minutes, I've got another one to throw your way. But Alex, we've just been mentioning there Sunderland, but we do look forward to your company on Tuesday, and we'll do it all again. Thank you very much for the moment, mate.
Good way to lose.
Great way to lose.
Great way to lose.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, guys. Have a good evening.
Cheers, buddy.
Sam, what do you make of that? From James Robbins. I'm not sure if you've seen that in the last sort of hour or so, but a better journalist than me, who will remain nameless unless they want to take the credit, said in Christmas 2018, look at his history. At some point, players will stop playing for him. They will want him to go. Ladies and gents, I believe we have arrived at that moment. Sam, do you think we're there now? Have we arrived at that moment?
You were
saying it just now, weren't you?
I really, really hope we are, because if we're not, I think it really does display what the owner's ambitions are, and that's quite a sad fact. If they don't make a move and be progressive, take a gamble and sack him, I just think it really does show where the club, what their ambitions are. And maybe
I'll make the point earlier, and I'll make it again. They don't have to sack him. They just say to him, look, go, we'll pay you to the end of June.
Yeah.
The contract's up, right? It's going to cost them nothing to do that, but it will give us all some hope that somebody will come in and just give it a spark and some passion, even if that's Harry Redknapp for 5 weeks on a freebie, or he'd come along and help us for nothing, probably. We don't need the money. He'd probably get us into the playoffs. Anybody, Gary O'Neill, even Charlie Daniels, just pull the shirt off and stand on the touchline and let him do it. Let him do it with his experience of coming up with Bournemouth. It's a joke. You just got to do something, Mr. Catlin.
Richard's very kindly stuck around to speak to us. We'll be back with you in a moment, Sam. But your immediate reaction to that, Richard, and where do we go from here?
I think, like everybody, mate, frustration. Very poor second half. Changes that were made. He should have done that at half time, not left it into the time that he brought them on. But no one's interested whatsoever. Everybody's playing to make him lose his job. And I honestly think that it will be from tomorrow. He's got to get back to Pompey some way, hasn't he, to get his car? So might as well take him on the bus and let.
It's not going to be a fun journey home, is it, for any of those players, Richard? How do you feel like the coach will be? Even if Jack Watmore says it's the most, I don't know what his exact words, but I'm probably misquoting him here, but one of the best dressing rooms he's been in since he started at the club, and that was back when he was a child. So how do you think the journey home is going to be tonight?
I think it'd be pretty dull, wouldn't it? You're not going to be having people playing karaoke cards, this, that, and the other, and lots of laughter and joy. It's like they've just won a trophy. I think it'd be pretty subdued because they've got nothing to be joyous about because of the performance that they played. And look at the end of the match. You got their manager going out to see the players, this, that, and the other. And there's players there that think, "Oh right, I want to play for him." We haven't got anybody that wants to play for Jacket, and it's clear to see. So. it's time, jacket out. I mean, move forward. You know, you mentioned Charlie Daniels. You know, but the thing is, yes, okay, he's got the experience of being in the playing for Bournemouth, this, that, and the other. But we need somebody with the credentials, you know, to actually inspire the players. You know, because yes, okay, he might be good a bit on the coaching side, but you just need that manager in, you know, with the backbone to actually, you know, get the players to actually start performing. You know, and
absolutely.
If you ask Eddie Howe to come along to the end of the season, say that 100 grand for you if you get us into the Championship, would he just come along for the last 10 games just to help us out?
Sam shaking his head.
I'm sorry, Andrew. I think we're on dreamland if we think Eddie Howe's going to come in. I think he's more chance of him going to Southampton than there is than us. That's just my personal opinion. I think Eddie Howe is more lower end Premier League job than high end League One job.
I agree, Sam. What I'm saying at the moment, he lives locally. He lives half an hour from Fratton Park. If we gave him a deal that says, look, you're out of work, you're not doing anything to the end of the season, come and help us out. Here's 100 grand, get us into the Championship. 200 grand if you get us in the Championship, whatever it might be. But just get us up there and give us some help just for the end of the season. He's doing nothing else. I don't care if he goes to the Scummers at the end of the season because they'll give him a good job. He was on 3.8 million at Bournemouth. We can't afford that management level. Of course we can't. We can, but we're not going to spend it.
Is a man like Eddie Howe going to come and give us that helping hand for what will be peanuts to him?
Well, it would be peanuts, but it would give him a job to the end of the season. It would give him something to do, wouldn't it?
I honestly think he's holding out for a lower end Premier League job, and that might be why he hasn't taken one. But you know.
Richard, we'll be back with you in just a moment. I'm sure we'll get your opinion on this as well. I tell you what, we'll have Sam and Richard on this, but something that you've seen earlier, Sam. But just a tweet that I'd like to give Dan a lot of credit for. He said, if Jacket is dismissed tonight, season is still salvageable for one. New manager has 5 months to start moulding the team ahead of the new season. Fans will, of course, be rejuvenated and players will be looking to impress, particularly on that third point that he's made, Richard. We're all sat here, slumped back in our seats right now, perplexed by what we're seeing in front of us. Do you think that what you've seen on there is obviously a very good point made by Dan, but that third one stood out to me when I read it. Fans will be rejuvenated, won't they?
Yeah, and if they turn around and said, right, from tomorrow, you'll be able to have full attendance at the ground, I can tell you now the atmosphere would be electric at Fratton Park. If he was out, somebody else came in and they got a result, from that. I say at the moment, fans going back in the ground tomorrow with Jacket, they're just, there's people, who are not season ticket holders, be paying the £25-30 for the ticket, they'd walk away, pretty disappointed like a lot of people, are at the moment. And, but yeah, I think they'd be jumping for joy, I think. Definitely.
Sam, what do you make of what's on the screen, mate?
Yeah, well, I probably should have given credit to the guy because I saw it earlier and I kind of nabbed it. So I'm just going to... But I did see it earlier, but yeah, I just concur with everything he said, and that's why I said it earlier on, because just even I do kind of think as well, it doesn't necessarily need to be any sort of experienced manager. Literally anyone would get a better tune out of these players than Jacket is right now. I think it was abundantly clear that they aren't playing for him from that performance. You could just tell, even the second half. They kind of got going a little bit, but ultimately we're playing the team that scored the least amount of goals in the division, and they looked relatively comfortable, and it was a questionable penalty that we just about scored. I don't think that merits any sort of...
Keeper got a hand to it, didn't he?
Yeah, the players didn't look like they were actually putting any effort to get back into the game. I didn't think at any point we looked like we were going to get back into the game, and if anything, at the end, Northampton looked like we're going to get a fifth. So I don't think the second half should say that the players were trying to play for him, or they were trying. The first half was clear. It was so abundantly clear that they aren't playing for him and that something is wrong in the dressing room. I don't know if you saw Curtis coming off. He had a smile on his face. I don't know if those 4 players that he dragged off, there might be something going on there because, Byers looked fuming when he came off. Marquis didn't look happy. Curtis had a smile on his face. So I just think there is something going on in the dressing room.
Hamlet Waterlooville jumping on it, saying, I think Jacket has lost ideas now, failed to give promotion time for a change, in my opinion. Richard, it will result, and I think we can preempt the future here by saying that it will result in a 4th failed season for Kenny Jacket. Absolutely, that is 100% a fact. There is still opportunity. We've seen on some of the tweets and what Sam and some of our other guests, and I'm sure you're along the same lines as this, so there is still opportunity to grab something from this. I mean, it's 14 games now in front of us. It's 8 weeks towards the end of the season where we could make a change, couldn't we?
That's it, and there's still a lot of games, So we play Tuesday, we lose Tuesday, Accrington, Ipswich win, then we drop straight down into 8th. Then we've obviously got Peterborough game. You lose it. We lose that game. And the thing is, unless there's a change in the management, the players are only going to perform the way that they performed today, the way they performed last Tuesday, the way they performed the week before. So there's going to be no change, and I say it will only change when he actually moves out. And then we actually get somebody in, to inspire the players to want to get in. Just think how great that would be if we cement ourselves in the playoffs. We actually, and then we got the chance of actually going up, and then
I'll make this comment again, if I may, and everyone listening might concur to this or not. But let me just say, if we got rid of Jackett today, and we had, let's say Eddie Howe, let's say Harry Redknapp, whoever it might be, come in for the last 14 games and get us into the Championship. If we're in the Championship next season, before the end of June, we would sell another 4,000 season tickets. If we did that, that's £2 million into the football club, just in the additional tickets that we would sell because we're in a Championship. We'll be playing Sheffield Wednesday and teams like that. We would sell 4,000, £2 million. Would it not be worth, Mr. Catlin, gambling 200 grand on something like Eddie Howe to come in and get us in there just for the next 15 games?
And have them on a performance base, on results base, as in, your bonus every game. If you obviously get the results to get them, to cement the players, then to cement the chance of getting in the Championship. We're never going to cement it in the top 2, because they're just running away with it now. But we're certainly good for the playoffs, definitely.
Richard, for the time being, thank you. And Sam, if you wouldn't mind sticking around for just a moment as well. And everyone is thanks, Richard. See you Tuesday. Everyone is gonna find this one interesting. This is Kenny Jackett's words from Andrew Moon. He said, "There's obviously pressure on every manager. Certainly, when you lose games and you're 4-0 down at halftime, there's obviously pressure on managers and the situation I'm in." To me, Sam, I don't know about you, but reading that from a level head, that doesn't connote I've accepted defeat and anything along those lines. I wonder what you make of it.
I think that comment I wasn't actually expecting, and I think it may be a good thing for us in the sense that he knows he's under pressure, and we haven't heard anything from the club before when he's been in ruts of form before about him being under pressure, and him saying he knows the situation he's in. I think that there is some pressure there, and it might be, I haven't seen a comment like that from Jackett before about him being under pressure. And saying he's in a situation I think that could be there could be more to read into that.
There's also not an apology from Kenny Jackett to all of us watching this and paying 10 quid.
I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. We haven't had that.
No, we've never had that, but an apology wouldn't be too bad. Sorry, guys, I've let you down again. That wouldn't be a bad shout, would it?
No, but we're never going to get that.
I wonder what Aaron's reaction to what the Pompey boss has just had to say. Good evening to you, mate. Thank you for sticking around, and we appreciate Brendan for holding on as well. We'll be with you as soon as possible. Obviously, I'm sure we can understand, and everyone who still joins us live on the stream. There's an awful lot to talk about right now, isn't there? And I think Retro Shirt Sean might have jumped back in just to. I think if he's sticking around, he's more than welcome to add a comment later on. But there's that as well, Aaron, and then I'm sure Sam will probably just have seen this one, but. The question that Andy Moon from BBC Radio Solent put to Kenny was, do you worry about your position after a result like that? And Jackett's response was, I concentrate on the football and work hard with the players to be honest with them about where they can improve. There's plenty of things we can improve on today. And that, Sam, is more like a Kenny Jackett response than the previous comment that we were just discussing. Aaron, I wonder what your immediate reaction is to that one, mate, and anything else you'd like to add.
Well, I've literally just watched his response to Neil Allen, and Neil Allen just ripped right into him, saying that the anger on social media and everything is bad. It's 4 points out of 18. Can you get this round? And then you could see he was trying not to smirk and grin. Like he always grins and smirks after every game. And you could see it in his face. He was trying not to do it. But... it's just ridiculous.
What did he say? How did he excuse it? Did he excuse it?
He tried to. He did try to excuse it and everything. and then I had to turn it off because I was getting angry. I don't know if you could see me in the background. I was like going to shout at it.
You didn't seem your happiest, I'll be honest, Aaron. But
yeah, it's it's mad. It is mad. Right. So I reckon the other thing as well, the club has not actually put the result or anything onto their social media pages, which is very, very unlike the club. Everyone's been commenting as well in the comments, saying that there's no after the game has finished, the result things up and everything. There's nothing at all. So, which makes me think that there is something happening. Hopefully, if Catlin is good, like I think he is, he'll be on sending emails now, requesting Zoom calls with the owners for this evening, saying this is an emergency situation now. We need to talk. There's going to be conversations tonight and into the early hours. Sunday night, a decision will be made. And I strongly believe that Kenny will be called into the office on Monday morning and say, look, thanks, but no thanks now. And I think there'll be a statement come Monday morning because this is just ridiculous.
If there isn't, should we be questioning Catlin and the team of management that are there?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've got to question the board and Catlin now, because at the end of the day, even though Kenny's the manager, the buck stops with Catlin. He's the representative of the owner, and he's got the voice in the boardroom. He has now got to step up. He's a fan. He was a West Ham fan when he was growing up, but for the last few years, he is a Pompey fan. He knows the Pompey family. He tells everyone, if you've got concerns or problems, email him. So I bet he's had thousands of emails over the last week or so, but he's now got to step up. If he wants to be a good name in this club, he needs to actually step up, get the owners and say, look, we need to discuss this. And we can't wait till the end of the season. Something needs to change now. Oh. And I strongly think that there'll be an announcement on Monday lunchtime.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned there about the media team and not being there's some of the comment sections going mental.
Can we have a live stream party when Jacket goes?
Don't you worry. I'm gonna sort of give Sam an open invite, and everyone else will be able to jump back on. But if there is any statement tonight from the football club, in the unlikely event, we should say, if you'd like to jump back on, I'll ping the link back out to all of you and we can discuss. But right now, at the moment, Ollie Marsh, who is a personal friend of mine, he's under an awful lot of pressure. He's had a horrendous couple of weeks, bless him. And he is sort of the man that leads the way behind the scenes in terms of Pompey socials. And I'll be honest with you, I just reckon he's probably had enough of it, to be honest, Aaron. Not going to quote him and misquote him and say that this is exactly how he feels, because I'm in no way doing that. But he's had a tough time of it. And I think he's probably just said, you know what? Like, at the minute, social media probably doesn't deserve a Pompey full-time 4-1. And then the onslaught that will just come out of that. We all know what the score was. I saw a tweet earlier. The players aren't stupid. They've all got social media accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers in some cases. You know, they're not idiots, and they realise what's going on, and they realise that the walls are caving in around them. I made the point to Andrew earlier on that perhaps it's not a good idea. I'll throw this out to both you and Sam, but the criticism, I think we spoke about this before the game, but the criticism right now is not beneficial, is it, right now?
No.
It's not. It's not. I know they're professional footballers, they should be able to deal with it, but it's not going to help things, is it, Aaron, right now?
No, it's not. Even McGilvery, after the game, he's gone in the dressing room, put his head in his hands and missed. That was a joke. It didn't really work, I don't think. But
we got it eventually.
Yeah, but it's just, there is definitely something wrong. I reckon he lost the dressing room weeks ago. Criticism, it is needed at times, but then if everyone starts whinging and moaning, it's just going to wind everyone up even more. So we've all got to take a step back, rethink situation. Hopefully let the club's board and direction and the owners actually sort this out. And otherwise, it's going to be like everyone else is saying earlier on, it's going to be too little too late. There's 14 games left. We have still got a chance. But if they keep him until the end of the season, mid-table, 9th or 10th, I can see us dropping to. And we should not be there.
Yeah. Sam, just a final word from you, mate. I'm sure you saw this earlier on, but this is from Pompey Pedro. He said, I respect the bloke, his loyalty and what he's done for the club, but if Catlin doesn't sack Jackett within an hour of this performance, then he should be gone too. That was about 4 o'clock this afternoon. I thought that was an important one. I know you're a busy man, mate. You've got plenty of other things to do, so we'll let you shoot off. And you know, hopefully we might be speaking to you later on this evening about something that might have changed. But just your final word, Sam, and if you can relate it to what you see on the screen then as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, I've always been a fan of Mark Catlin, so I'm not gonna. But I think this might be like a kind of a crux, in my opinion, on him. It come to a head a little bit if they don't make a decision, and if Jackett is in his interviews on Monday morning doing the press for the Sunderland game, I think it really doesn't bode well for where the club's going in the next few years. And I'd like to think that from what I've heard from Mark Catlin, from how he's been with fans, I just genuinely think he's an open and honest bloke, and I genuinely think he's got the best interest of the club at heart. Basing on that, I do kind of agree that he should be on a call with the owners in either tonight or tomorrow to try and tell them that, you know, this is a real issue now, and then the future of the club on the footballing side of stuff is not going in the way it should be. But I'd like to think that's what he's going to do. I just you can't stick by him, a manager, so many times. They stuck by him quite a few times now at moments like this, and I just got a feeling
this is an example of that, isn't it? Where then, similar to tonight.
Yeah, on that one, I could see why it happened. You know, football was in a very uncertain place at that time, Tom. But, you know, now we've got vaccines rolling out all over the world. There's a very strong chance that football stadiums will be full next season. I don't think the financial side of it is a massive factor at the moment, and it shouldn't be. And if that's used as an excuse, I just think it's really deflecting where their ambitions lie. And I'd like to think there'll be an announcement either today or either tomorrow or Monday, but it would just give everyone such a boost. And either way, Tom, I'll catch you on Tuesday, and I'll do the Sunday game with you.
Perfect, mate.
Thanks,
thank you very much indeed for that. Let's bring Brendan straight back in. And Aaron, you're more than welcome to stick with us, mate. And you were going to add something to that, Andrew.
I was just going to say that one of the comments on the tweets there were the £1 billion net worth, Mr. Eisner. So to lose 3 million, 4 million this year in the football club, £1 billion net worth is nothing. So let's not think about financials. It doesn't matter. Financially to them, it really doesn't. To us, to lose that sort of cash, you and I, of course it would, but to them it means nothing. So it's about them showing that they care about us, I think, and Mark Catlin showing he cares about us, because that's what it means. That boils down to, if he cares more about Kenny Jackett than us, there's a big problem in that board.
Brendan, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I tend to agree, because it is a drop in the ocean for the Eisners, that money, but is it? Are they going to afford that money to put it into the football club to get rid of him for a few, for 14 games? It would be nice to have a change up. I think the club needs it. It'll give the fans a boost, give the players a boost, as we've been saying all day, really, since half time. We said that we need something needs to change, and with all the things that can happen, I think that is the one thing that will turn this season around and still. I'm with Aaron. It's still in the balance. It is still possible to make these playoffs or even make it into the automatics. And what a Pompey thing to do, to have all this bad run and then go and beat Sunderland. It's such a Pompey thing.
Absolutely, and Andrew, you quite rightly said earlier on that you would be happy for Redknapp to come back, and you would have thought he would do. I know he's busy with I'm a Celebrity and whatever these days, Brendan, but is that a man that you would consider for the Pompey position at the moment?
I think Harry's. I love Harry to bits, for what he's done for the club, and he brought myself Premier League football and brought me an FA Cup. So I don't think he'll have Harry at all. Looking back, at the time when he left us and went to Scum and left us and went to Spurs, I wasn't a big fan of him. But you look back and you think, he did well for us. But I think he's.
To be fair though, that season he did relegate them and then come back to us.
He did, yes, exactly. So there's a plus to it, definitely. But no, I think Harry's retired. He's happy to have his little investment, because he wanted to buy a club down your way, didn't he? Like Wareham, when it's like that, he wanted to buy one of your clubs.
He wouldn't want to buy Wareham, mate. It's not the most desirable place to be, honestly.
Little town, but you wouldn't want to buy a football club.
It's got a train station, and that's it. It's not a lot going on in Wareham.
They sell jammy dodgers in the co-op there.
They do. There is a nice co-op actually, recently refurbished. It's a bit like.
Can I throw this?
Go on.
Somebody's just saying, Frank Lampard, just come to us for the end of the season. Frankie boy, come and give us some passion and some footballing nonce to the end of the season. Frank's uncle Harry lives locally.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I think Frankie could do a job, and if he does a good job and gets us promoted, maybe we give it to him permanently. But just the end of the season, I think that'd be a good shout.
What was that, Aaron?
Or get Roy Keane. He'd kick the players up.
Don't talk about him, mate. I can't stand him.
I've heard horror stories about Roy Keane.
Yeah, you wouldn't want him, mate. He's a nasty piece of work.
It can't be any worse than what we got.
If we got Roy Keane in, Curtis would play every game. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
there is one man that does have a hairdryer in the shape of Roy Keane. Aaron, your final word before we go and speak to Retro Shirt Sean. If there is anything that comes from tonight, if you're sticking around, I'll send you boys all out the link like I normally do.
Yeah.
It might end up being Sunday. It might be Monday
Sean
morning.
needs just throw a guy in, get somebody in there. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, he signed a contract at West Ham, though, isn't he?
Passion for what we need.
Yeah, Stuart Pearce has just signed a bit of a contract at West Ham, so I don't think he'll terminate his contract to come down to us.
Your closing thoughts.
Well, hopefully, announcement will happen. Hopefully, Caitlin will actually speak to the owners. But then we just got to hold the front page and the back page, and just hopefully something will be announced. If nothing's announced by Tuesday afternoon, then we know we've got Kenny till the rest of the season, and then we're just going to be in a loophole, and we're going to finish mid-table. We won't even get into the playoffs.
Okay, Aaron, thank you very much indeed for that. I'm sure you will have heard it already, but we've did I do all right holding the tongue? Didn't say too much that was.
No, you're all right. There was one
facts,
bit. There was one little bit that you were on the cusp and everything, and I thought, but then Andrew took over, so you're all right.
Yeah, but that's why. You know why that is? Because of this. That's why. I care.
Yeah. Oh, wrong side.
Aaron, I'm sure you would have heard, mate. We've got a big one coming up, lined up from 6 on Tuesday. So if you're around for that, then that'd be brilliant. And we will. I know it. Go on.
If Kenny's still there, I'm going to wear a black armband.
But to pay your respects for every fan around the country,
if you're still there,
and around the world.
If you're still there, I'm going to wear a jammy dodger on my head.
There we go. Alan will be balancing one jammy dodger on his head for the entirety of the 3-hour stream. Aaron, thank you very much indeed for joining us, mate, and we'll speak to you in a couple of minutes.
Have a good weekend. Enjoy your curry tonight.
We will.
Thanks, mate. I can't wait for it. It's only about an hour away, so that's wonderful. Anyway, cheers, mate. That was Aaron, and we're going to jump in with Retro Shirt Sean as well. Sorry.
Oh, he's on the red wine.
Is he on the red wine?
Oh, was it tequila, is it? Or gin and tonic? Oh, good girl. Put your speaker on.
Large gin and tonic.
It's gone to his head already.
He's on a G&T's. It's got to him already. Are you on the rums yet tonight or not?
That'll be later.
Brilliant. Anyway, Brendan, just before we come to Sean, I wonder how you feel. If, as Aaron's quite rightly said, if nothing's said by Tuesday, what will you be feeling as a Pompey fan?
Well, I'd lose a bit of faith in the director's box. I think it's a bit of like, it's the times to make the big decisions, and if we've got the balls to make the big decisions, and I've said it. We've said it for a long time. Catlin talks a good talk, but can he walk the walk when it comes to the big decisions? When it comes to the cut and shut of it,
How likely is a big decision for you, Sean?
I kind of hope it wouldn't get to that. I kind of hope that Catlin and Jacket have the friendship that you see, and Jacket would go in and he would say, honestly, I'm not the man for the game. I'm walking. And I think he wouldn't put Catlin in that position. I'm kind of hoping Jacket turns around today this evening, on reflection, realises You know, he's done the same thing again and again and again, and it's getting nowhere. So I'm kind of hoping Jackett will turn around and go, I've had enough. I'm stepping aside. And that would make me feel better. So I don't want to see anyone fail. And he tried. He came up short. There's no animosity there. And, you know, Catlin should sack him. That is the end of it. But I kind of hope that friendship comes through and there's an amicable agreement. He walks and we get someone in. I personally would like J-Mo and Horizon at the end of the season.
Yeah, he would do. He would do.
Yeah.
Horizon, he'd have some spirit.
He said David James as well.
David James.
Yeah, David James and Horizon, they come as a pair, put them in, and just give them to the end of the season. That would be enough. The fans would be happy. There'd be passion on the pitch, and then we'll come again next season.
So I'm sorry to relate this back to Ipswich, as I feel like we do quite often, but there was a tweet that came out from them last week that it said, Paul Lambert has left the football club by mutual consent. Would you imagine that is something, if it were to happen, that you would like to see from the football club tonight or tomorrow?
I totally agree. Yeah, it'd be lovely. It'd be lovely. But my worry is, in the press conference that he just gave Neil Allen, Kenny Jackett isn't that reflective.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So what's going to happen tonight or tomorrow, or the weekend before Monday morning? Anything?
That reaction says it all, doesn't it?
No, lots of talk online from fans, but not much from the club, unfortunately.
Yeah. I just think Catlin needs to grip it, and I think if he leads Jackett down the line and says, "Listen, you need to walk here," I think there could be an amicable. But I think it'd be Catlin controlling it. I think Catlin needs to step up to the mark, you know. And from what he's done over the last couple of years, he gets a lot of respect from the fans, and he could actually use this to cement the Eisner's position. He could actually use this to actually listen to the fans, to reflect and bring somebody into the short term. So there's an opportunity here as well.
Sean, if he leads him down the line of you need to walk and he doesn't, we're in a worse place than we are when we started, aren't we?
Well, I think hopefully like any boss would then say, actually, you're out. You know, that's what you want to say. You sort of you give them enough rope and you say to them, listen, you know.
Or he's going to have his last hurrah at Wembley and get sacked in the tunnel.
We'll lose that game.
And that'll be it. That'll be the straw that'll break the camel's back.
Yeah, I think I don't know, Sean. I don't know if we've discussed this with you yet, and I'd like to hear what you've got to say on it. But do you feel like, and we've spoken to Brendan about this at length, but if there were any fans at the Sixfield Stadium this afternoon, if there had been any fans at Fratton Park in the last couple of weeks,
be on the pitch.
Well, they might be on the pitch, but I wonder how Sean feels about that. What would the mood be like at Fratton Park right now for you?
I think there have been fans calling for his head a long time ago, around about Christmas time. And I think, you know, he lost a lot of fans. There's a lot of players have left Pompey who he didn't play, who were good enough to get us up. You know, you think back of the Pittman, the Chaplin, all the you know, the players that really mean something, showed passion. They all moved on. A lot of decisions were made, and people were stuck by him, hoping, and nothing's really come of it. And I think you would have seen, if fans had been in attendance, you've seen the attendance start to wane after Christmas. It would have gone down. Then you've got the hardcore who have been calling for his head, and it wouldn't have been a pleasant place, I don't think.
Absolutely. Right. Well, gents, thank you very much indeed for that. Do you want to add anything on to either of the...
No, gents, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a quick hour run before it gets dark, and then we're going to go and get a Taj Ruby and a bottle of Budweiser, and we're going to watch Saturday Night Takeaway and have a bit of a laugh.
It sounds like we're in the police force, but be on speed dial, gents, just in case there is anything that crops up in the next sort of couple of hours or so. Obviously, that's the very unlikely case that will happen, and I spread that to everyone watching right now as well. We will be live. Should there be anything
of course
interesting?
Nothing's going to happen in the next tonight, I don't think, because you remember we're at Sixfield Stadium, so Catlin and the group, the people that matter, will be there. But they won't do anything there, of course. They've got nowhere to talk privately, have they? So they might get back to Fratton tonight.
Stranger things have happened, Andrew.
But they might get back to Fratton tonight, or I tell you what, let's see you tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock at Fratton Park in the office.
Yeah, but I think what I might do, I might have a walk down in the seafront and go shout out of the creek to get my frustrations out.
Nice. Sean, any plans for your evening in Devon?
I'm going to fill this glass and finish it and get a curry.
Wonderful.
Good man. Well done, mate. Well done.
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for now.
See you Tuesday.
We will see you on Tuesday and perhaps even before then, but that is probably a pipe dream. Thank you for the moment, gentlemen. Right, Andrew, you're
I'm off.
Yeah, I know you're off, but just give us one final little bit of, a little bit of reflection, perhaps. We've had 3 and a bit hours of this, 3 hours and 34 minutes. Go on.
We'll always support this club. We'll always support the team. We'll always support everything that's going on around this club. What we won't support is lack of passion.
Okay, let's hit the promos. Thank you very much, Andrew. And we might see you even before Tuesday night.
Indeed.
Who knows?
Hope
Who
so.
knows?
Good night,
Right,
everyone.
Speaking of Tuesday night, here's what you can look forward to.
Next Tuesday, it's the big one. Portsmouth versus Sunderland live in League One right here on Fournilwritten all over it.
They're a dangerous team. They're not as dangerous as us, obviously, but they're a dangerous team.
Never in doubt, mate. Absolutely never in doubt.
But generally speaking, we're heading the right way, and that's up.
Charlie White. Is he magic?
Who?
Charlie White.
No, it's terrible.
It's live from Fratton Park and kickoff is at 7:45.
Well, that was an interesting afternoon, wasn't it? And I am very excited. Well, I'm intrigued to see what is going to develop over the next couple of hours. Thank you to Anthony Martin for joining us, as well as Sean Mead as well. I'll go through a couple more comments. David has said, Kenny, go out on your shield with some respect intact. Thank you for giving it your best, but it's not in our interest to maintain this. It's not working, and time to go. Okay, it is incredibly warm in this room, so I am very sadly going to have to shoot off and leave you. But as Amy said, we will see you all on Tuesday. And beyond that, let's see what's still to come here on Fournilwritten all over it between now and Easter Friday. So that one's going to be interesting, isn't it, when we get there? Portsmouth versus Sunderland live here on Fournilwritten all over it from Fratton Park, Tuesday the 9th of March. Join us from 6, followed by the trip to Wembley. That one's also available on Sky Sports Football. Saturday the 13th of March from 2. Following that, we've got that's really irritating me, rubbing against that chair. We've got a couple of crucial games coming up in League One. If Pompey are to at any point see any particular chance of heading up, it's Peterborough United versus Portsmouth, followed by Paul Cook's earlier than usual return to Fratton Park, Saturday 20th of March, followed by Shrewsbury Town away, Saturday 27th of March at 2, and then join us on Good Friday, as I say, 2nd of April from 2. Right then, thank you very much indeed to everyone for joining us live here on Fournilwritten all over it. It's been an absolute, well, it hasn't been a pleasure to bring you this one, but nonetheless, I think we've really managed to conclusively give you an overview of how everyone's feeling right now from a fan's point of view, which of course is the most important point of view to be looking from. For now, thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for bearing with us this afternoon, and thank you if you're still here for joining us live for the majority of the afternoon. If you've been here from the start, then that's absolutely incredible. And thank you for your continued support. We might see you before Tuesday night, but if we don't, thank you again for joining us. And we'll be live from 6 o'clock, as I say, in just a couple of days' time. But between now and then, keep the faith. And of course, play up Pompey. Bye-bye for now.